And I did see the live, respect to Travis Hunter's fiance, I did see the live. She has a dark-skinned mother. Now, whether that was a Latino African mother or an American African mother, I don't know, but she African. So she passed the biological test. Mom is chocolate. So you passed the first question. But Travis Hunter's fiance got to pass the second question. Kendrick Lamar's wife got to pass the second question. You've established that you have a black parent. Now establish to me that you identify full-time as black yourself. Do y'all see that? It's not enough to have a black parent. You got to identify as black full-time. And if you don't, you're not a mixed race African. You a mixed race snow bunny.
Real life.
It ain't real life. Just ain't real thing. Real life street stars. You know what time it is.
Real life street stars. Hold up. We got the legend. The only person in America who is not dreaming of a white Christmas.
That's right.
Dr. Umar Johnson.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here. Yes, sir.
Finally on the blue couch, finally behind the lights. And we about to have a conversation, man. This is,
yes, sir.
First and foremost, welcome.
Glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation. Glad to be back in Dallas, Fort Worth. You know, Dallas is one of the last major cities I started visiting on my speaking tour. I didn't hit Dallas until maybe 13, 14. I got Dallas kind of late, but saved the best for last. I got Houston even later than Dallas, but I get a lot of love here. I spoke here for Kwanzaa last December, and I was here about 2 months ago for a Black Economics Conference at one of your major hotels, and here I am now. Black Power, glad to be with you.
Thank you so much. Now, with that being said, the world knows you. You know, I remember that movie, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, with Clarence Williams III, where he was Black Power.
Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
then, you know, he had a whole situation with the white children.
The white, yeah.
With his Black Power, his African bodism, I always got that take from you. And what I would love to do, because those people in this world that look up to you, look at you as a superhero almost. And every superhero has an origin story.
Yes, sir.
Of where he got his superpowers from. So I'm curious, what is Dr. Umar Johnson's origin story? How does it start?
I'm gonna give you my origin story, and it ties into my superpower story. So my origin story is, although born and raised North Philadelphia, Bill Cosby neighborhood, Meek Mill lived right across the street from us.
Okay.
In the third grade, we moved to North Carolina. My father was in the Marine Corps. And he was rough because he was a Marine Corps drill sergeant. But I didn't have an older brother to speak to because I'm the oldest of 5 sons. And so I said, when I grow up, I'm going to be the person that all the young people can talk to when they have no one else. So that was 8, 9 years old. My parents divorced. We get back to North Philadelphia. The elementary school that I attended, it just so happened they had a Black history class. It wasn't mandatory for the entire city. Our principal, that white principal, that Black assistant principal, that Black teacher made it happen. So 4th and 5th grade was Black history class. That was my introduction into Black consciousness, and it was my introduction into public speaking because there was a Black History Month oratorical contest. I entered that, I won first place both years, and I never shut up since. Now, a few blocks away from my elementary school is the international headquarters of the UNIAACL. This is the organization built by the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey, largest Black organization in modern history that gave us the red, black, and green flag. So the school is here, the Garvey movement is here. So you could argue that my steps were already numbered from childhood. I just had to walk them. Now, my mother bought my tennis shoes at the Jewish sneaker store right next to the Garvey building. I never knew it was the Garvey building for 12 years until I graduated from undergrad, college. So I'm going to get some sneakers, just graduated from college, and I see this big picture of Marcus Garvey in the window. I said, why is there a picture of Garvey next to the white man's sneaker store? And then the elder came around the corner, Baba Johnny Gossa. He's an ancestor now. Rest in peace. He said, can I help you? I said, why this Garvey picture here? What's going on here? He said, this is the UNIA. Come back Sunday at 3 o'clock. Came back Sunday at 3 o'clock. It's been 25 years later. I never left.
Wow.
Now, let me
Amazing.
give you the superhero story,
Let's
but
go.
let me take you to how I became the Prince of Pan-Africanism.
Let's go.
So, I come back from Millersville University year 2000. Got to do my internship to get certified as a school psychologist in Philly. I do that. 2005, I go to Africa for the first time as Minister of Education for the Garvey movement. Ethiopia, South Africa, Nigeria, and Senegal. 30 days, 30 nights, I'm all by myself, right? People thought I was crazy. You going to Africa by yourself? Hell yeah, I've been waiting for this. So anyhow, the last stop in Africa is Senegal. I go Ethiopia, South, Nigeria, Senegal. I go to the slave dungeon in Goree Island. This is the superhero story. I walk into the female slave dungeon. I got a bottle of water. I was raised Muslim, Sunni Orthodox Islam. Philadelphia has the largest amount of American African Orthodox Muslims in the country. Dearborn has the most Muslims, period, but they Arabs. Philly is Mecca to African American Muslims. Not necessarily the brothers and sisters from the Nation of Islam. We're talking Orthodox Islam, right? So anyhow, being raised Muslim, we never dealt with ancestors or none of that, right? And my father was strict with the Islam. So I walk into the female slave dungeon. I get down on one knee. I said, I'm going to pour me some libation. I never did this before. I'm in Africa for the first time. I got to do a libation. So I start calling on my ancestors in the female slave dungeon in Goree. True story. I started crying, but the tears didn't feel like mine. I got up and walked out the dungeon because it kind of caught me off guard, right? I said, whoa, that was a little different. What was that? I go back in. I finish my libation. I don't think nothing of it. I get back to my hotel room. Same night. Sun is still up. It's about 2 hours from sunset. I call my mother, let her know I'm good. I go back to my hotel room. I don't have a roommate. I sit down on my bed. Sun's still up. All of a sudden, I start hearing chains, whips, people crying, screaming, animals. My room starts spinning. Mind you, I'm wide awake. This is not a dream. I don't smoke. I'm not high. I'm a psychologist. I'm clearly awake. I thought it was going to stop. Now the sun down, right? It's still going on. I'm scared to get up and walk out. Something might grab me. So then all of a sudden, something starts tapping me in my third eye like this, real hard, but not hard enough to hurt me, but the power that I'm showing you here, right? But there's nobody in the room with me, but there's a finger tapping my third eye. Now I know it was opening up my third eye so I could receive the wisdom from my ancestors. I know that now. I didn't know that then, because back then I'm thinking like a Muslim. I'm not knowing nothing about no African consciousness. So then I try to go to sleep. I said, let me sleep this off because I'm too scared to do anything else. I felt two hands roll me over to the other side of the bed. Now, mind you, I'm almost 300 pounds. Roll me back to the other side of the bed. Roll me back. I'm like, oh, shit. Did I bring a demon back? And so, I'm thinking in my
Paranormal
Negro
activity.
mind, right? So at about 4 o'clock in the morning, I figured it out. I said, this is the ancestors. I just knew it. So I asked them, could y'all let me sleep now? Because I'm scared. Y'all been with me for like 7-8 hours. I need to sleep. So they left. The next day, I walk out through the village, and we are in a rural section of Senegal. So it's like calves and donkeys and chickens walking all around, right? So I'm talking to the Senegalese brothers, telling them what happened last night. They said, don't worry about that. A lot of you American Africans, when y'all come home, y'all have that experience because it's your ancestors tapping back into you. So when I get back to Philadelphia, this is the summer 2005, I resign from the school district of Philadelphia. I take on an assistant principal job. And I start experiencing coincidences like crazy. Somebody will, phone ring, I know who it is. Somebody looking for something, I got it in my hand. I think of somebody, I see him tomorrow. Like bing, 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 bing. Coincidences like crazy. Where I'm like, oh shit, what happened over there? So then I finally go to the Oyotunji African village in South Carolina. I get an African spiritual divination, Yoruba style, right? From the Yoruba. And that's when the Babalawo, rest in peace, Chief Olaitan, he's an ancestor now. He left about 2 years ago. He told me your ancestors were throwing you a welcome home party. He said, you didn't go to Africa for Garvey. You thought you went to Africa for Garvey, but your ancestors set that whole thing up to bring you back. That was 2005. 5 years later, I get a phone call from a Hebrew Israelite brother Dawa, Chicago. He's an ancestor now too. He said, I want to interview you on my public access TV station. At this time, nobody know who I am. I'm still just the Pennsylvania Pan-Africanist. I ain't the prince yet. So I said, Chicago, that's the second largest city. I'm there. This is probably only the third or fourth time I ever flew in an airplane, right? I'm almost 1 million miles in with Delta now, but this is beginning. So I go to Chicago, I do the interview with Dawa, psychoacademic war against black boys. Now, mind you, I done these interviews 100 times, but only in Pennsylvania. So I do it in Chicago. The interview was over. I asked him for a copy of the DVD. He said, I can't give you the DVD because I need this. I said, no problem. Send me a copy later. At the last minute, he changes his mind. If he doesn't, we might not be here today. He gives me the DVD, right? 6 weeks later, I speak at the National Black Theater in Harlem for the first time. So now it's New York, Harlem. I spoke in New York before, but it was private and only for the Garvey movement. This was for everybody. So I get to Harlem. I got copies of the Chicago interview. I give them out. My New York lecture was entitled Post-Traumatic Slavery Disease Part 4, Miseducation of the 21st Century Negro. It's on YouTube. So anyhow, after I do the lecture in Harlem, 125th and 5th, give out the Chicago interview, I lie to you not. Within 48 hours, my phone started ringing with area codes I'd never seen in my life, up until October 30th, because the Chicago interview was September 18th, 2010. The New York lecture was October 30, 2010, 6 weeks later. Prior to that, the only area codes I saw on my phone was Pennsylvania, 610-215-484, right? Mm-hmm. Within 48 hours after Harlem, bro, after giving out that Chicago interview in Harlem, my phone started ringing. It ain't stopped in 14 years. I started seeing area codes I never saw. First, it was America, right? My first call to come to Dallas came right after that. Like, yo, we want you to Doc Bookstore. That's you real. Feel me? That's the first place I came in Dallas. And then California came. Then there was Texas and Alabama and Mississippi. And it was crazy. Now, mind you, at the time, I'm a whole school psychologist, but people keep calling on me to come speak. I'm like, shit, I got to test these kids, do these evaluations. I got IQ tests, achievement tests, emotional assessment. I had to make a decision. You either got to pull back on your public speaking and keep doing your professional work, or pull back on the professional work to travel. Now, mind you, being a psychologist, you get paid good money. Come on. I gave the money up for the movement.
Come on.
You feel me? And I don't regret it because of the lives that I've changed in the process. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But here's the point I want to make. When those ancestors came to me in Goree Island in Senegal in 2005, I believe that is what set up what happened in 2010 with Chicago and Harlem.
Oh, yeah.
In other words, what I'm doing right now was birthed in that slave dungeon in West Africa.
Yeah, no, that man, hey man, you know, that sounds like a Black Panther, the Purple Orb, ancestral
I'm
plane.
working on the comic book of it though.
You got to. You got to. And here I thought, you know, you got like done by a white girl in third grade or something.
Ooh, no.
Yeah, no. There's
no bunnies.
Yeah.
Black queens forever, snow bunnies never.
Yeah, I thought it was a traumatic moment that happened back in the. So okay, so man, that's amazing. So let's start with this, and we're gonna be jumping all over the place, but they always say for the Black American, the African American who's born in America, won't you go back to Africa? They used to always say, won't you go back home? And they'd be like, well, I never been there. What would you prescribe that every person, Black person of melanated skin, go travel to Africa? And if so, where? Based on where you've been. Great question. Would I recommend that every African in the diaspora travel to Africa? I'm glad you said travel, because I thought you were going to say immigrate or relocate. Travel, yes, so you can know who you are and where you come from. Connect with your roots, because that's spiritually necessary, that's psychologically necessary, that's politically necessary, that's socially necessary. Now, if you would have said immigrate, I would have said no, because as the Right Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said, I have no intention of taking all of you back to Africa. Some of you are no good in America, so you damn well will be no good in Africa. And I'm of the same way. We don't need bunny hoppers in Africa. We don't need basketballs and footballs in Africa. You understand? Right. We don't need to be taking no problems there. You go there, you go to solve problems, not to create them. You know what I mean? So Garvey never led a back to Africa movement. That's what the white man called it. When people hear the word Pan-Africanism, they say, oh, they want to take everybody back. We never believed in that. And I don't believe in it now. Only those who want to go and have something that they can contribute to the rebuilding of Africa should go back to Africa. You understand? Now, to what you said in the beginning there, the whole world is the kingdom of Africa, because we're the first people to circumnavigate the planet. We're the first Europeans. We're the first Asians. We're the first Americans. We're the first everything. We was on every continent before anybody else ever evolved. If you dig long enough, you're going to find Black folks everywhere in the beginning. So the whole world is the kingdom of Africa, but the continent is the royal palace.
Now that phase you went through, I won't even say phase, that what you went through when you went to West Africa.
Yes, sir.
Is that something you think every Black person can experience, or do you have to be chosen to go through that?
That's a great question. I'm gonna look at it a couple different ways.
Gotcha.
To begin with, in many African spiritual systems, women, Black women, are born with the spiritual capacity to access other dimensions. They born with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the African woman is slightly more spiritual than us in that she's born with that energy. We have to be initiated and trained into it, right? So that's one part of my answer. Here's the other part. It depends on how spiritually ready you are. Here's one of the laws of spirit, right? Your ancestors might want you to go to Africa and go through exactly what Dr. Umar went through to open you up spiritually, right? But are you psychologically ready to receive that truth? Listen, I was born and raised Muslim. That indoctrination was heavy, right? So even after I went through that awakening inside of Goree Island, I still had to deal with some of the indoctrination of Islam that taught me that anything that was beyond the realms of the Quran was not divine. You follow me? And I'm a conscious brother, and I still had to work through it. You see what I'm saying? So remember, spirit will only give you what you can handle. They might want to give you the world, but if you are not psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually prepared to be opened up, it will harm you, and therefore they won't bring it to you. So when you hear that saying that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That is exactly the truth when it comes to ancestral awakening. They're only going to come to you if you're ready to receive them. And that night in that hotel room, I don't think I was ready to receive them, but they made me ready because they wasn't letting me out the room. You feel me? And they came so hard that I could not ignore what I've been through. In other words, had I dreamt that, if that was a dream, I would have reasoned it away. You follow what I'm saying? They had to get me awake, sitting up on my bed, because anything else, I would have dismissed it as some sort of random dream. So they got me when I was awake because they needed to make sure I accepted it.
That's real. I'm curious, what did you think of the Black Panther movie?
The Black Panther movie, shout out to Ryan Coogler, and of course he has a Black woman. Cinematography, excellent.
Right.
Excellent. Now let's deal with the content.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to
The cinematography is one thing. Content is something else. I got issues with the content in Black Panther. Why? Killmonger, which I believe was Dr. Umar plagiarized, because in that movie, next time you watch Black Panther, you're going to hear Killmonger say things that I've said verbatim. Verbatim. I saw at least 4 comments out of Michael B. Jordan's mouth that I've said verbatim.
Damn.
So they took me and made me into Killmonger.
Can you give us maybe one of those?
Yes, indeed. When he said there's 2 million people all around the world who look exactly like us and we not doing nothing for them. Who the fuck you ever hear say that but King Kong? And I can give you more than that. They took me and made me him. There was another action thing that just came out. They had my whole hair. Of course, I cut it now. Had my hair, beard. It was the three women. It was a Black sister and 2 white girls.
I forget.
It was, you know what I'm talking
I know
about?
exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
They had me in there, and everybody texted me for the doc. They got you in here. Look just like me saying my shit in there.
Oh, you need a lawyer.
You know, but stay with me. So with Black Panther, with the content, Killmonger was the metaphorical woke Black man in America who knows everything but doesn't respect African culture. The message in Killmonger to Africa was, don't let these woke Negroes over there. Yeah, they read all the books and they know all the history, but they don't respect African culture. They've been Europeanized and they filled with hatred, like Killmonger. If you let Black America come back to Africa, they will destroy your society. There was coded messages in Black Panther for different African populations around the world. Now let's look at Prince T'Challa, right? Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. His character, the Black Panther, was what? Selfish, stingy. He was a nationalist, but he wasn't a Pan-Africanist. He didn't care about Black people outside of Wakanda. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Remember when Lupita kept trying to get him to Go help. She said, we got everything in Wakanda. Let's go help our brothers and sisters in America. Prince T'Challa said, we don't give a damn about them.
Yeah, he did.
You follow what I'm saying? So that was a message to Black America that Africa don't want your ass. Y'all can keep wearing dashikis and changing your name and getting locks. They don't want you. So the messages, I think, were very damaging and destructive to the aspirations of Black people on both sides of the water. And let's be clear, this was not a coincidence. Black Panther came out in 2017, was it? 2018?
2018, I want to say.
What was the very next year after Black Panther came out? The year of return. 1619 to 2019. 400 years of African people in the diaspora relocated from slavery. Are you going to tell me it's a coincidence that you bring a movie out? You bring a movie out the year before the quadricentennial of Black slavery. You bring a movie out that tells Africans, Black Americans are no good for you, and tell Black Americans, Africans are no good for you. Look at this now. Killmonger is the metaphorical Black man in America. Prince T'Challa, the metaphorical Black man in Africa. You don't want to be bothered with him, and you don't want to be bothered with him. Now let's bring it home. CIA agent Ross, remember the white boy?
Yep.
At the end of the day, he flies the plane in. He really saves the day. Can I ask y'all a question? How can a CIA agent be a hero in an African movie when the CIA assassinated every major Black leader we had in America, Africa, Central South America, and the Caribbean? They got Maurice Bishop assassinated. They was implicated in Walter Rodney. They got Malcolm killed, King killed. They the ones who got Garvey thrown out of America. They the ones who had Patrice Lumumba assassinated. They helped Nelson Mandela get arrested. The CIA destroyed the Black liberation movement. And you mean to tell me you got a Black Panther movie
Implanted
with
drugs.
an organization responsible for killing every major Black leader saves the fucking day? Now, listen, Congress, U.S. Congress, they have a committee for Hollywood. Guess what the job, I forget the name of it, but there's a congressional committee who oversees the movies that come out of Hollywood. And what do we know about the congressional committee? They will pay your movie studio to put content, characters, themes, and storylines in your movie that are favorable to American foreign policy. You're not going to tell me the FBI. Ryan Coogler cannot tell me that the FBI didn't have their fingerprints on Black Panther because the storylines was completely disgusting. I'm going to go one more.
Let's go.
For the Queendom. The movie's in Africa, right?
Right.
Can you tell me something? Why you didn't see a single Black mother with a child in a 3-hour movie in Africa? There was no maternity in Black Panther. Where can you go in Africa and not see a woman with her baby?
Message.
You know why? You know why?
Why is that?
Because they are trying to create a mindset and an atmosphere in an ecosystem where Black children no longer look to Black on Black heterosexual love. And so they strip Black Panther of Black on Black heterosexual love because they selling our children the rainbow agenda. Black Panther 1 was a CIA psych ops, and Black Panther 2 followed up on it. I'll never forget Black Panther 2 because it came out on November the 11th of 22? 22, right? I know it was 11/11. You know why? Because we just celebrated Nat Turner. Nat Turner was hanged November the 11th, 1831. So every November the 11th, we go to Nat Turner land and we celebrated him in the army, right? So at Nat Turner, I said, who want to go see Black Panther tonight? We was hyped. Just got finished celebrating Nat Turner. We got the energy. We go to the damn movie theater. And all I see is brown people whipping the shit out of Black people. That movie was a disgrace. Black Panther 2 was a disgrace.
Yeah.
Listen, can I ask you a question? Go back to Black Panther 1, right?
Right.
Our children was hype off the characters in Black Panther 1, right? Everybody wanted to be, right? Now you high off Black Panther 1. Your mother and father take you to see Black Panther 2. So now you got these, I don't know what they were, Latinos, Arabs.
They were Latinos.
Okay, and much respect to the Latino nation. So you have these Latinos, right, who live under the water.
Right.
And they have all the same powers.
Even better.
They have even better powers. Oh boy was a god.
Yeah, he was trolling.
Somebody help me. Since when did you have another category of superheroes, right? Who have the exact same or better grade, higher quality powers of your superheroes? Here's the question. What was the purpose of Black Panther 2 if it wasn't to strip the self-esteem of black kids who was riding high off of Black Panther 1? They whipped our ass. They went into Wakanda and whipped everybody's ass. Jabari from the Mountain Tribe, he wasn't doing shit in Black Panther 2. He got his ass whipped. You feel me? So, and then remember they killed the mother?
Yeah.
What Black Panther, what black person you know?
Auntie.
They kill Auntie, Angela Bassett, kill your mother. You come back and make peace with the people who killed your mother?
Damn.
What kind of movie was that? Listen, Ryan Coogler, you're not going to tell me Ryan Coogler writing these himself. Nah. No black man is writing no movie where your people get destroyed by another race. And it's supposed...
You ain't killing my mama and then
Come on, man.
good after that.
Yo, that movie, I almost walked out and I'm sitting next to my godson. I'm like, what is this?
Let's go.
I wouldn't take my kids to see this. This is an insult. And now they're working on part 3.
With Denzel.
And I love Denzel, but he ain't got no control over what the script gonna be, you feel me? So I hope Ryan Coogler do a 360 or something, because right now, I couldn't show that to my children. Remember now, that's the first superhero movie that will be viewed by every African child in the world. Every black child on the planet saw Black Panther. And look at the messages they got from it. Look at the messages. Completely toxic. Black Panther 2, look at the messages. And as far as I'm concerned, Black Panther 2, to me, was a prophetic message to Black America that we're about to wash out the black with the brown. Black Panther 2 was a preview of the migrant crisis.
We should have went against a white superhero. That's what we should have did.
Should have been.
That'd have been a better movie.
That black versus brown, I ain't like that theme. But I do think it was a forerunner to the migrant crisis. What did they do in New York? What did they do in Chicago? They washed out black people with the migrants. That's exactly what they did with the underwater people in Black Panther 2. Washed us right the hell out.
What do you think about them making Bucky the black, the Winter Soldier? He was the White Panther.
I didn't understand the last scene in the movie. Who was the white dude at the end? Jesus.
That's Bucky.
Cracker G. Who is he?
So he's the Winter Soldier in the comic book. That's
So
Captain
he's his
America's
own character.
He's his own character.
What was he doing in the Panther movie at the end? What was he doing
trying to cross over with Marvel.
They was trying to cross
Now
over.
you got me thinking.
But in the comic book, he is known as the White Panther. That arm he has is vibranium, which is mined in Wakanda. That's what his arm is made of.
I don't like it.
Hold on. I got one more. So, what about the only presence? There was no strong black man presence in the movie.
Oh, absolutely. And the fact, and shout out to the sister who plays Zuri, right? They turned her into the Panther. I didn't like that because black women need superheroes. Our daughters need them, don't get me wrong. But you don't turn a black male superhero into a female superhero. You understand? That should have remained a man, because what it said to me was, y'all not strong enough to lead the nation. So we're gonna let a woman take over. And that's what the hell we've been going through since the 1970s when they started deindustrializing the inner city. So there was a lot of themes in these movies, man, which makes me bring up something else. Have any of you been to the Smithsonian National African American Museum in Washington, D.C.?
I have. When I was young.
You been?
When I was young.
No. Well, it's only been open for maybe
The big
5, 6 years. It ain't that old.
No.
Okay, you ain't been there. Now this is the National.
Okay.
George Bush signed it into law when he was president, but it opened under Obama. So I guess maybe 12 years now, about 12 years. But the reason I'm bringing this up, because when you go to the Smithsonian, right? Now this is the official African American Museum of the U.S. So everybody who visits this country who want to know about black people, they go into the Smithsonian. So I go to the Smithsonian. And so I go in and I'm like, okay, it starts in slavery. They don't really tell us too much about what we was before y'all came and stole us, right? So I'm scratching my head a little bit about that. And then in the slavery exhibit, Thomas Jefferson, rapist slave owner, has a life-size statue in the slavery exhibit? Why are we glorifying a slave master in the slavery exhibit? What is Thomas Jefferson doing with a statue? They glorifying him, right? Nat Turner don't have no statue. Harriet Tubman don't have no statue. My ancestor, Frederick Douglass, he don't have no statue. So I keep on going through this museum. They got the Honorable Marcus Garvey tucked on some little board around the corner. You won't even see him. This is the leader of the largest black organization of all time. He tucked. Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he tucked, right? So keep going. You get up to the top 2 floors. Guess what's on the top 2 floors? One floor is the athletes, right? Michael Jordan got a big statue. LeBron James got 3 big TVs with all his highlights. Serena Williams got a big. I said, wait a minute. Wait, time out. No statue for Harriet, nothing for Garvey, nothing for Nat Turner, but Michael Jordan, a bunny hopper, Serena, a bunny hopper. Damn. And then you go to the hip hop. They have a glass case of a pair of Nike Air Force Ones, painted red, white, and blue, with Barack Obama's face on them in a hip hop exhibit.
Oh, hell no.
Nike is a white corporation. Barack Obama is a house Negro. What that got to do with hip hop? And then, after you're going through this trauma, you're gonna be hungry, right? So you said, let's go get some grub. I know they got some good food in the cab. Guess what they selling in the cab?
Nachos.
Take a guess. Guess what they selling in the cab at the Smithsonian National African American Museum? Yes!
Fried chicken.
Yes! Fried chicken, cornbread, pork chops. Yes!
Collard greens.
Ghetto ass plantation food. You know what I thought? I thought they was gonna have samples of the food that we ate in Africa before we came. So this is what they ate in Nigeria. This is what they ate in Ghana, Liberia, Congo, Cameroon. No. They gave you the slave diet. So here's the narrative. This is how it is. They was in Africa, living in the jungle. We came and enslaved them, but they didn't know it was good for them. So when we got them over here, told them how to work and be civilized, and gave them white Jesus, they didn't know it was good for them, so they fought us. We let them out of slavery. After they got out of slavery, they started making rap music and dunking basketballs. The end.
The end. Highlight reel.
Now, people say, well, how would you have done it? First of all, why is there no exhibit on the school to prison pipeline? That should have been a whole floor. What about the HBCUs? That should have been a whole floor. What about the contributions of black women? That should have been a whole floor. How about the black inventors? That should have been a whole floor. What about mass incarceration? All the people who've been murdered by the police. Now they're in there. You got a little plaque. You got a little info board. But I'm talking about an exhibit. No, bro. You know who run that museum? Athletes and rappers, bro. And then when you ask questions, you know what they told us? They said that the athletes you see in the Smithsonian put up matching dollars for the construction of the museum. So they said LeBron and Serena and Michael and them gave money, right? Yeah. So because they gave money, y'all had to dedicate the museum to them? They not no damn freedom fighters. Now, go to a Jewish museum. I bet you they ain't got the top 2 floors dedicated to Seinfeld. How much you want to bet Seinfeld ain't got no whole floor? No, do you feel me though?
Rerun.
How much you want to bet go into a Jewish museum about the Holocaust?
Right, it's
you
gonna
won't see no goofy ass comedians, ain't no actors, no basketball players. They talking about community and culture. Right. But you come to the Black Museum and 2 floors is dedicated to coons and bunny hoppers.
It's
and guess how much it costs? $550 million. Do you know what the hell we could have done with $500 million, bro? You know how many schools we could have built? You know how many hospitals we could have built with $550 million? You know how many black men unemployed we could have gave jobs to? How many homeless black women with kids for $550 million?
Come on, man.
Oh my gosh.
Now, let me ask you, again, I'm gonna get off of this Black Panther, but I have to ask you, when Black Panther came out, there was a lot of black pride that you see people in dashikis. They were seeking for something.
Yes, they were.
And they got it from entertainment value. What did you take from the Black community coming together and start really trying to show their Blackism, I guess you could say?
Misdirected passion.
Okay.
And the reason I'm going to say it was misdirected passion, no Caucasian, no Hollywood film studio, damn sure not Walt Disney, can create or do anything for you that should motivate you to get interested in who you are because a white man is initiating it. Look at all the great leaders we had. Look at all the scholars we had. Look at all the Black books that's been published on us. And you get hype over a superhero invented by a white man. Invented by a white man. But you won't get hype over the real Black Panthers. How about some Huey P. Newton? He wasn't invented at Disney Studio. What about little Bobby Hutton? What about Geronimo Pratt? What about Bobby Seale? What about George Jackson? What about Jonathan Jackson? What about Fred Hampton? I'll give you some real Black Panthers. You follow what I'm saying? Don't give me no cartoon invented by a white man where you got real Black Panthers. And here's the issue. The real Black Panthers got washed out for the cartoon Black Panther. Because now when our children hear Black Panther, they don't think about Huey P. Newton. They don't think about Fred Hampton. No. They don't think about George Jackson. No. They don't think about Geronimo Pratt. They don't think about our Prentice Bunchy Carter, John Huggins. You know who they think about? The cartoon. So in many ways, that was a cultural takeover by Hollywood commercialism.
Damn.
How many, in entertainment period, how much of it do you think is made to program the way
all of it?
All of it?
The purpose of entertainment is to control minds. The whole purpose of propaganda, which is informational warfare, is to do what? Destroy the consciousness so you never have to go to war with the people. If I can control what you think, I never have to fight you. If I can convince you that standing up to me is the worst thing you could ever do in your life. If I can convince you that I am invincible, you'll never want to fight me. That's why they spend more money on misinformation than they do in the military. And you see how much money they spend on the military. They spend more money on misinformation than they do in the military. And let us be clear about something. You only have about 6 media companies. 95% of everything you see, 95% of everything you read, 95% of everything you hear is either coming to you through Disney, Sony, Time Warner, Bertelsmann, Rupert Murdoch News Group, and I'm leaving one out. 6 companies control 95% of all the media in the world. And you wonder why they control our athletes, they control our celebrities, they control what we think. Whoever controls the information controls the world. And what are the most important aspects of information? It is the images and the sound.
Right.
The brain is ruled by what it sees and what it hears.
So, with that being said, Jay-Z, what are your thoughts about this? Everything that's going on with Jay-Z right now?
I think the Jay-Z situation, here's what I believe. Bill Cosby was falsely arrested, or should I say unjustifiably arrested, in September of 2018, right? Allegedly, a whole bunch of ugly old white women came together and remembered that he sexually harassed them 40 years ago. Nonsense. No white woman is waiting 40 years to tell on a rich-ass Black man. Remember, at the time, Bill Cosby is what Denzel is now. You understand me? Bill Cosby was the man back then. Right. He opened up TV. He's at the top of his game. He sexually assaults you, innocent white woman, and you don't tell nobody for 40 years? Not only one of you, it's like 30 of them. And then all of a sudden, they get this epiphany. All at once, their white ancestors came and said, stand and go tell. Right. And they all came out at one time. Bill Cosby got locked up because him and his wife didn't want to let the second largest oil company in the world drill under their Massachusetts home. They wanted oil. Cosby and Camille led the crusade by the neighborhood association to not let them drill. They decided to get him arrested because they felt that they could bankrupt him through legal fees, which would force him to sell the house. They get access to the drilling. That's why Cosby went to jail. So that's 18.
Okay.
R. Kelly is convicted in Brooklyn, September of 2021, and again in Chicago, September 2022, right?
He did that shit though.
He may have, but that's not why he's in jail.
Okay.
No, because we never going to defend pedophilia, right? Or abuse. But that ain't why he in there, because that's what they do in Hollywood.
Right.
That don't make it right.
Okay.
But that means that's not why you there, because if that's why you there, they should all be there. Right? R. Kelly didn't want to sell his masters. That's why he got locked up. Now, if Bill Cosby's in jail, if R. Kelly's in jail, why did New York City's city council decide to create this gender-based violence protection initiative, which already existed, but they added a 2-year window out of the blue? Out of the blue. The law been around since 2000. It's a 24-year-old law. 2 years ago, it's been around 22 years. And y'all say if there's any woman in New York City who's ever been sexually harassed, abused by any man at any time in your life, you have from March 1st of 2023 to March 1st of 2025 to bring a civil suit. No statute of limitations. If Bill Cosby is already locked up, if R. Kelly is already locked up, if Harvey Weinstein is already locked up, why did they come up with that law? In my opinion, they came up with that law to take down Sean Carter and Sean Combs. That was the Puffy Jay-Z bill. It wasn't necessary. Why? Weinstein's in jail. R. Kelly's in jail. Bill Cosby's in jail. Why do y'all need to come up with a 2-year window that let women go all the way back in time and accuse any man they know? And mind you, you can't bring a criminal suit. It's only for money.
Right.
Come on.
Money.
That tells me you only made this rule to go after rich people. Black celebrities, bro. That was the Carter Combs law. That's what I call it.
When Jay-Z says he's not P. Diddy's friend.
Wow. Now, let's look at that both ways.
Okay.
When Sean Carter said that him and Sean Combs were never friends, that could be looked at a couple different ways.
Okay.
On one way, it could be a mafia thing where we know we buddies, but I can't afford to catch none of your heat. So on camera, I'm gonna tell them I don't mess with you.
Right.
But off camera, we still brothers. Because I can't afford to go down. Because if I go down, Puff, who gonna finance you getting out? God forbid, if Puff go broke, he gonna need Jay to send him a life preserver. You feel me?
Right.
So Jay can't afford to go down, because if they both go down, who can they go to get some money from? They two are the biggest out. Denzel ain't cut no check, he too clean. He ain't gonna touch it. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, it could be an undercover agreement. We're gonna act like we enemies in public, but I got your back in private. So I don't wanna jump to conclusions. Now, if what he said is what it is, that's bad. Because everybody know y'all was homies. Everybody know y'all hung out. Everybody know there's a relationship there, but maybe they fell out before Puff got hit. You see what I'm saying? Maybe their relationship went south before Puff got hit with the accusation. Maybe this is not Jay-Z throwing him under the bus because of the crimes he's being accused of. It could very well be that their relationship went south. But to say y'all was never, like I said, I'm going to take the high road, and I'm going to say Combs and Carter have an agreement that we ain't friends in public because I might need your help in private.
The alleged allegation against Jay pertains to this 13-year-old girl back in 2000. We don't know what's true. It's all allegedly. However, why do you think no one is questioning the story of why this 13-year-old girl was in these places and spaces at this time by themselves? Why is that not a topic of discussion? Whether he did it or not doesn't make him innocent or guilty. Why is no one saying, well, what was this girl doing alone
Exactly.
there in that space?
Well, for Black people, we don't care because we love to see our successful people taken down.
Wow.
So Black people don't care.
Wow.
They just want to see Jay-Z, Sean Combs, and any other rich Black person drugged through the mud because they're not rich. So that's Black people. White folks are not going to question it, pretty much for the same reason. They like to see Black people fall from grace as well. You know, for me, you have to go there. How does a 13-year-old girl get from Rochester, New York to Radio City Music Hall on September 7th? What, the year 2000 was it? Yeah. How did she get there? She said a friend drove her 5 hours. I've driven to Rochester. Frederick Douglass is buried there, so I visit Rochester regular. A 13-year-old girl got a ride from her friend from Rochester, New York to Radio City Music Hall. And the father don't remember ever picking his daughter up after she got sexually assaulted by the two biggest names in hip hop.
Wow.
Why do you think, because once you get so much money, right?
Uh-huh.
I heard the only thing that beats racism is capitalism. So once you get to a certain threshold of money, it's like, why assassinate the character of a Puffy or a Jay-Z? What is the significance of it?
Well, first of all, capitalism cannot beat racism because racism invented capitalism. White people are serious about power. Black people are serious about money. It's the big difference between us. This is why a white man could be worth $10 billion. You will never know it. You will never know it. A black man will be worth $10 and you think he's worth 10 million. Right?
Right.
So white people are about control. You see? Control. Black people want to own things. White people want to own situations. Power bucks money every day of the week. When you hear Negroes say the only thing matter is green power, that's a politically uneducated Negro. The question is, who makes the green money? Who has the power to print the money? Power runs this world, not money. Money don't mean nothing because when you got power, you can get anything you want. You don't even need money if you got power. Right? Because you can make people do. Think about the bully in lunch, right? You in the lunchroom. You got your bling on, you got your money, your Jordans, right? The bully ain't got nothing. But guess what? He gonna leave the lunchroom with jewelry, Jordans, lunch. Why? Because the person with power can get anything they want. White people are in pursuit of power. Black people in pursuit of things.
Now, I would say that you command a lot of power. I would even venture to say that taking somebody like you down would be more of a loss to the black community than taking a Jay-Z down. Only because
I agree.
You speak this message you speaking. I remember being, I don't know where I was or how old I was, but I remember I heard you speak on the Breakfast Club and you made me want to actually do something about the shit you was talking about. You was talking about what they do to black children, how they with ADHDs and how they just misdiagnose our black children over and over again, and what the problems that it actually causes. And it was like, man, we really just have to go through that, and it made me want to do something about it. Aren't you more dangerous? Do you feel like you're in danger? Do you ever feel like your life is in danger because of your message?
I think that every black man in America is in danger and a potential political prisoner. Am I being watched? I am, because I was told that by FBI agents who are supporters of mine. They pulled me to the side and say, they're watching you. Don't get paranoid, because if they don't find nothing on you, they will make it up anyway.
That's some real shit.
I had an old lady, a senior, an elder. She came up to me. I spoke at a graduation in Philly, right? She like a sweet grandmother, right? Guess what she told me? She said, Dr. Umar, I'm an FBI agent. She said, you would never know, would you? Look like the sweetest old grandma, like she just made some sweet potato pie. And she said, you need to be careful because they will send the type of people they know you will trust. And I trust elders. So I got to be careful with the elders.
Have they ever tried to send a white woman?
Nah, but they will use the white woman on everybody else, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Not me. They're going to send a white woman on me. But see, here's the thing that I wanted to say to that. They watch, right? But they don't really mobilize against you until you start moving the people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I'm educating the people. I'm motivating the people. I ain't moved them yet. Once the Frederick Douglass and Marcus Garvey Academy is up and running, now I'm going to start moving them. You feel me?
Yeah.
That's when I got to be extra careful. That's when they want to send. Now, don't get me wrong. I believe right now that there are 4 women and 1 man that is around me who I think are agents. Yes, I will bet my life that at least 4 of them are without question agents. The behavior, things they've done, they already got people on me. They already got people on me, and I know who they are. It's easy. You can tell an agent. It's hard for them to hide. I just got to be careful, but you can't worry about it. Because the Honorable Marcus Garvey said what? Leaders will come, leaders will die. The tragedy isn't that we die. The tragedy isn't the fact that Malcolm or King or Mega was murdered. The tragedy is it's been 50 years and you still ain't found a replacement.
Oh man, that is a tragedy.
See, a big difference between black people and the other communities, they make their leaders. They train their leaders. They raise their leaders. We go to church and mosque and pray for hours.
Come on, yeah, nah.
You see that?
Really?
And that's why it's been almost 50 years and you ain't got another King. You ain't got another Malcolm. It's been 100 years. You damn sure ain't had another Garvey, right? And that's our problem. You got to make leaders. The white man got leadership schools. The Asians got leadership. Where's our leadership academies? Where do you send black males or girls to be trained in the art of leading black people? Not one. Not a single HBCU specializes in the leadership of African people.
Well, my opinion on that has always been black men are scared. Once you get to a level like you, once you get to a level where you're at and you can command a crowd or money or wherever you want, it starts to change how they want the things. So the information that they was given is no longer important to because now they have access to the things. So they scared to lose now they can get the women that they actually wanted before they started talking all the good information. Now they can get the jewelry. Now they can have access to the different events and places that they couldn't go before nobody actually cared about what they were talking about.
Have you ever read a small little book, any of you, or heard the audio book? It's a small book written by a Caucasian from England very long time ago, and it's called As a Man Thinketh. You familiar with it? I recommend that all y'all read As a Man Thinketh. It might take you an hour to read it. It's a small book. You can get the PDF free online. It's one of my favorite books. They actually introduced me to it in the Garvey movement. The elders will make me read it. And As a Man Thinketh, he's talking about control, mind control. And he says, the situation never makes the man. It only reveals you to yourself. The situation does not make you. It only shows who you always were. Yeah. If Dr. Umar end up with a snow bunny 20 years from now, I always wanted her.
Oh, man.
Do you feel me? I always wanted her. The opportunity just never presented itself. If Dr. Umar sells out for some money next year, I was always a sellout. I just didn't have a good enough reason to sell out then. You see what I'm saying?
Come on.
Truth is consistent. If you are about what you claim to be about, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, you don't change. If you change, you were never real to begin with. So I don't look at money as changing nobody. Right. You was already a sellout waiting to happen.
Hey, message. Let me ask you, when it comes to P. Diddy and Jay-Z, and let's just stay with Diddy, because I want to talk about, someone had brought up saying, if it wasn't for Carisha coming out.
Is that Young Miami?
Young Miami.
Okay.
If it wasn't for her getting, where Diddy showed, he's pulling up, gave her a podcast, coming to her shows and concert, letting her talk about their relationship publicly, which before he's never let anyone talk about the relationship, then Cassie probably would never been possibly scorned to even file a lawsuit against him. What would you say to that?
I could definitely see that. I could see a possibility where Cassie, out of jealousy, envy, or rage, decided to come forward because she felt Young Miami was being treated better than she was. I could see that. But you know what I could see more than that? I could see her white husband telling her, you better go get that money.
No.
Because we ain't living rich over here. And you got a whole blackmail case on this man. A button you ain't push, you gonna push it. I think her white husband sent her after Diddy to bring back the cheese.
Yeah. So how should we be treating the mixed woman?
For me, the mixed race African woman is no different than any other African woman if she identifies full time. The problem with the mixed race African, some mixed race Africans, not all, right?
Right.
The problem with some mixed race Africans is they have not yet made up their mind as to which side of the fence they want to stand. And with me, they all black. If you say I'm black, I'm riding with my daddy's blood, or I'm riding with my mama's blood, and that's African, I'm African, I don't treat them no differently than anybody in this room. It's only the ones like me and my sister Amber Rose, right? We going back and forth today.
Okay.
And Amber Rose identifies as biracial.
Yes.
Which to me means I don't want to be black.
Correct.
So until she re-Africanizes herself, she's a snow bunny.
So is it the Rosa Parks effect? Because like if you black in the back of the bus, but if you white, you can sit up here with us. So you feel like some of them don't want to actually go to the back of the bus?
Here's the problem. Correct. Here's the problem. And I sympathize with the mixed race African. Because your mother and father, out of their own selfishness, mixed race parents of an interracial parents are selfish.
Wow.
You're selfish.
Okay.
Because you are God and you putting your seed in the devil, or you are God and you letting the devil put his seed in you.
One way or the other.
And his child is going to grow up being split, right?
Yes.
With the DNA of the two most polarizing racial groups on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
It ain't like an Asian, a Chinese married an Indian. It ain't like a Latino married a Native American. An African married a slave master. It's completely different. And so that child has to navigate this complex political world where I'm half black, half white. Black people don't trust me, and white people will never accept me. It's selfish. Why do it to the child?
What would you say?
They suffer all kind of depression, drug abuse. Don't get me wrong. I know a lot of mixed race Africans who ain't got no issues. I want to be clear.
Come on now.
Some of them are more psychologically sane than those of us who ain't mixed. You understand?
Yeah.
So it's not everybody. But my mission to the mixed race brothers and sisters is to know that if you are ready to be African full time, Dr. Umar and Team Pan African will accept you with no issues. No issues.
So I have to ask
you. But you got to be full time. You can't be black at the Dr. Umar lecture and white with your Jewish grandparents at the bar mitzvah. I'm not accepting that.
So what would you say to the Diana Ross effect? Meaning that she had mixed race children, then those children got with white people and had 10%, they're like less than 25%.
So here's my rule.
Go ahead.
Okay, this is where me and the Honorable Marcus Garvey disagree. The Honorable Marcus Garvey said one drop. Garvey said one drop. So for Garvey, if you are one drop and you claim African, you good. For me though, and of course that was a century ago, I'm Garvey now. For me, you got to have a one parent rule. You feel me? One of your parents better be black. So now if you say, what if one of the parents is mixed race? Right? Which would make the child a quadroon. Because what you're saying is you have one black grandparent, right? Biracial, you got one black parent. Quadroon, you got one black grandparent. Octoroon, you have one black great-grandparent.
Octoroon.
Right? Now stay with me. With the quadroon, you do have an argument with me.
Okay.
You do have an argument with me.
Okay.
Because if your mixed race mother or your mixed race father was raised psychologically black, and they very much look black, as a lot of mixed race Africans do, look at Frederick Douglass. Yeah. You wouldn't know Frederick Douglass was mixed race. In his younger years, yes. But once Frederick Douglass hit 40 years old, hell, he's damn near my complexion. So you can't always tell. I know mixed race Africans you would think ain't got no white parent. You see what I'm saying? Nature knows no color line. And that's why you got to be careful about a hard rule. So for me, one parent rule, I will consider a quadroon. If somebody comes to me and say, Dr. Umar, I got one black grandparent, but I was raised black by my mixed race dad and my mixed race mom, I will consider them. Now, if somebody comes to me and they are an octoroon,
1/8.
I'm 1/8 black, unless you look like Jimi Hendrix. I don't think you passing my test.
Now,
I don't think I can rock with the octoroons. Quadroons, you got an argument. A lot of our Latino brothers and sisters are quadroon, you know. The Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans and the Cubans, you know, and my great-grandfather was Cuban, by the way. You know what I mean? So they would be quadroons, many of them.
Now, what about the if they have the mixed race, but they was raised by the white parent?
It don't matter because it's DNA.
Got you.
But remember now, my rule is I have a 2-prong rule, right?
Right.
Because that was the conversation I had the other day about Travis Hunter and his fiance and Kendrick Lamar and his wife. And that is this, because and I did see the live, respect to Travis Hunter's fiance, I did see the live. She has a dark-skinned mother. Mm. Now, whether that was a Latino African mother or an American African mother, I don't know, but she African. Mm. So she passed the biological test. Mom is chocolate. So you passed the first question, but Travis Hunter's fiance got to pass the second question. Kendrick Lamar's wife got to pass the second question. You've established that you have a black parent. Now establish to me that you identify full time as black yourself. Do y'all see that? Mm-hmm. It's not enough to have a black parent. You got to identify as black full time. And if you don't, you're not a mixed race African. You're a mixed race snow bunny.
How you feel about the white man that's raised in the hood and he acts so black that you would think he was black?
Okay. We need to understand something. This cultural appropriation that we think suggests white people are black is insane. They come into the ghetto, they appropriate your music, they appropriate your dress, they appropriate your style, and you think it's a good thing when they're playing in your face. Come on. The reason I don't like the Eminem, DJ Khaled, DJ Vlad type thing is because they can be black all day and they get to leave it when they tired. They get to go back to their whiteness when they done imitating your blackness. Why would you let anybody play with your identity in reality like that? With the hell we catch as Africans, why would you let another group come into your hood, play black?
So what if they got something on their forehead that said 100% black?
Impossible.
If they did that.
They are Neanderthal DNA.
I'm Viking.
Yeah.
See, listen. Everybody wants our rhythm.
Everybody.
But they never around to tolerate your blues.
Oh, talk to him. Talk to him. Bars. Messenger.
You battle rap.
Hold on. How do you feel?
Wait. Have you seen Eminem at the Breonna Taylor protest? Was he at the Trayvon Martin protest?
No.
Was he at the Tamir Rice protest?
No.
Amir Pope protest?
No.
Sonia Massey? DJ Khaled? You seen him at any protests against police brutality?
Yeah.
DJ Vlad? You see what I'm saying? So we let them exploit the more positive, fun-loving aspects of black culture. But when it comes to dealing with the struggle of being black, none of these culture vultures are anywhere around to experience your pain.
See, so then when they say, you have people who will say Eminem is the king of hip hop or the king of rap. Why? And the way I feel like a white person should have the right to rap, but they should not have a place in our category.
He cannot be considered in the pantheon of greatness.
Right.
Because this is an African cultural product, right?
Right.
So here now, black people were so upset when I said that. You had every top rapper you could think of join the Eminem legal defense team against Dr. Umar. But guess what? When the Country Music Awards came out, Beyonce, who had one of the longest running #1 country albums of all time, didn't get a single nomination. Nobody said a word. So why was it okay for the white people to cut Beyonce out of her rightly earned awards and nominations at the Country Music Awards? Beyonce had 5 songs from Cowboy Carter on the top 10 consecutively. It was one of the longest running #1 country albums ever. Right. Not one nomination. Nobody say nothing. Dr. Umar says Eminem can't be the GOAT, and Black America goes crazy. Look at the double standard. It's okay for white people to gatekeep their culture, but it's not okay for black people to gatekeep ours.
Yeah. And I watched you, because I'm glad we made it to hip hop music. I watched you have an argument with a brother about how detrimental hip hop has been to our culture.
Brother Mouse, shout out to Mouse. He a good guy too. Shout out to Mouse.
I won't ask what you think it's doing, But what do you think we need to turn it around? Because I feel like although hip hop is very detrimental at the point that it's made it to, I feel like it has given a lot of access to the dollars that, otherwise Black people wouldn't have access to.
Okay, let's deal with the dollars. Hip hop, which is the most popular music genre on the planet, most influential. It's a multi-billion-dollar, probably almost $1 trillion industry, if it isn't.
Facts.
Right? And it's allowed all these rappers to get rich and buy homes and blah, blah, blah. Here's my question. How has Black America benefited from hip hop in its 50 years? Show me a hospital that hip hop has built. Show me a school that hip hop has built. Show me a bank that hip hop has built. Show me a supermarket that hip hop has built. Show me a distribution center. Show me a manufacturing center that hip hop has built. I'm a nationalist. I am a Pan-African nationalist. I'm about the best interests of the nation. Nations have communities. Communities must have industries in order to take care of the people. Where is the infrastructure that hip hop is building for Black America? 50 years, not a single institution. That's not acceptable.
Who's to blame?
We are, because we allow it and we tolerate it. Now, we do know hip hop is dominated by Caucasian interests.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But what is stopping us from taking back ownership of hip hop? Nothing. We could take it back if we really wanted it back. But you know what? We're comfortable with white people being in charge. See, post-traumatic disease. The one thing Black people won't admit that it took from us the natural God-given desire to want to control your destiny. We're the only people in America comfortable with white people running everything. Chinese come here, they're not comfortable with white people running nothing. Chinese got their own distribution, they got their own schools, they got it all.
Come on.
Arabs, East Indians, got it all.
Hey.
Look at us. We've been here longer than all of them. Not one hospital you can call your own. We are comfortable with white people being in charge as long as we can have fun.
Would you blame it on the Black man's ignorance to the economy and wealth?
It ain't really ignorance.
Go ahead.
It's a lack of a commitment to oneself to improve it. We don't want to do better because we don't want to put forth the sacrifice that is necessary to do better. We don't want to sacrifice. We'll vote, we'll pray, we'll march, but we will not weaponize our money to benefit ourselves. What do you see us doing that requires substantial financial contributions from everybody? Nothing. And that is your Achilles heel. That's how the Mexicans is outdistancing you, because they put their money together and they build industry together. We never do that. Not as a group.
So I have to ask.
Black people have been robbed of their racial ego. You no longer have a racial ego. Stay with me.
Let's go.
Somebody disrespect your block, you ready to turn up. Somebody disrespect your gang, you ready to turn up. Somebody disrespect your fraternity, you ready to turn up. Somebody disrespect your organization, you ready to turn up. Somebody disrespect your music label, you ready to turn up. Somebody disrespect your podcast, you ready to turn up. Let somebody disrespect Black people. You would say, oh, well, maybe it was true. We don't have a racial ego. Latinos have a strong racial ego. Chinese, strong racial ego. Jews, strong racial ego. Anglo-Saxons, strong racial ego. Black people have the weakest racial ego, and therefore you are the weakest politically and economically.
So the hip hop world, and this goes into the economy world of Black people, do you feel like when they say crabs in a barrel mentality or crabs in a bucket mentality, where we will climb over each other for that one to get out on top?
Yes, sir.
Is that a truth that you see in our community?
Absolutely. That's true for Black people, period. That ain't just hip hop.
Yeah.
That's Black across the board. And you know what? It comes from the plantation. On the plantation, the master would liberate a couple a year. And the only way you could get liberated was to do what? Snitch on the other. He not working hard enough. He got out to the cotton field too late. He trying to run away. The only way you could get free was to snitch on another. And guess what we still do? We still undermine and undercut. Why? Because we believe only one Black person can win at a time. The essence of our self-hate is rooted in the fact that if I find out you winning, I believe it automatically means I can't. See that? If your podcast is winning in dollars, it automatically means mine can't. Says who?
Right.
Why can't both of them be winning? Right?
Right.
They could both be winning. But because we come out of that plantation mentality, the minute I find out his business just opened, it means mine can't. It's a ridiculous way to think, but that's the way black people think. Another black person's victory is automatically my defeat.
So, why do we feel like that even though we haven't ever been?
Say that again.
Why do we feel like that even though I've never been in a situation. Like I've never been, I wasn't on a plantation, but I feel like even like you said,
intergenerational hypnosis.
Yeah.
You don't have to be on a plantation. Behaviors are passed down through socialization and indoctrination, right? So in sociology, we have the generation recidivism theory. You will be exactly like your great-grandfather if your parents don't do something different in the way they raise you. You understand? We also know that you can pass down trauma intergenerationally without having gone through the experience. Yeah, you can teach trauma. You could come in here and say you got hit by a car and I wasn't there, but the way you describe it, the way you emote it, I will take on your trauma myself. You see what I'm saying? If the mother has anxiety disorder, the daughter going to have anxiety disorder because she's going to learn it from her mother. My great-great-great-grandfather was George Washington Belly, first black public school teacher, did in Maryland, cousin of Frederick Douglass. He had him and my grandmother Annie, had my grandmom Caroline, grandma Vivian. Grandma Vivian married Grandpa Cicero. They had Grandma Ida. Grandma Ida married Grandpa James Johnson. They had my father. Married my mother. They had me. We 6 generations away from bro.
6.
That's it.
That's it.
My great-great-great-grandfather he was in the Civil War. We're only 6 generations away. It was not that long ago.
It wasn't.
You could find elders. We got elders walking the earth who grandparents were. It wasn't that long ago. They want you to think it was a long time ago so they could try to make it irrelevant. Everything we go through now is based on every problem black people have is based on.
Right. So how do I get my racial ego back? I mean, yeah.
That has to come back with the group. And as Frederick Douglass said, it's better to raise strong children than to repair broken men. So I believe we only do that by raising the next generation of children properly. We got to raise the next generation of boys and girls the way that they're supposed to be raised. You follow me?
Yeah.
Trying to put a positive racial ego back into African people is going to be almost impossible if you're working with adults because people don't change. Do you know that most people go to therapy will never get better? Most depressed, anxious, bipolar, borderline, schizophrenic, eating problems. Most of them will be the way they are to the way that till they die.
Yeah, they can suppress it.
Only 15% benefit from therapy. You feel me? These are people who want to change and they still fall short. So what makes you think you're going to change a whole race who've been behaving dysfunctionally for 159 years?
So let me ask.
Start with the children.
Yeah,
Start with the children. Frederick Douglass said it's better to raise strong children than to repair broken men.
This could be controversial, and well, it is. When it comes to teaching in school, do you think we should stop teaching to see America who doesn't remember that, or should we always teach the traumas that we had as to young third graders?
If you don't know where you've been, how do you know where you're going?
Could you teach hate though?
I don't believe so. This is what I tell people. They say at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, you're going to teach black children in history. Yes. How are you going to make sure they don't hate white people? That's not my responsibility.
Come on.
That's not my responsibility.
Come on.
And you have black parents who will deny their children a knowledge of self because they love white people so much that they don't want their kids to dislike white people. That's insane. Do you think there's a Jew who gives a if their children dislike Germans after finding out about the Holocaust? Who cares about how my oppressor feels about my children learning about their oppression? I don't care. But let me give you this. I don't have a dog in the public school teaching racism fight because I don't believe it's the public school's job to teach our kids who they are anyway. You understand me?
Yeah.
So when Ron DeSantis in Florida said we've taken out, I don't give it. Because y'all shouldn't be teaching our kids who they are. The community should be teaching their children who they are. I don't want white women teaching black kids who they are. I don't want white men teaching black kids who they are because they can damage your child's interpretation of their history. If a snow bunny gives my daughter Harriet Tubman, if a snow bunny gives my daughter Winnie Mandela, if a snow bunny gives my daughter Queen Nzinga or Ya Asantewa or the Ogogie warriors of Benin, if a snow puppy give my son Garvey, Douglas, Booker T, Carter G. Woodson, George Washington Carver, Toussaint Louverture, if a white man gives my son knowledge of self, he can destroy the way my son sees himself.
Oh, man.
You never give your enemy the power to interpret your children's memory for them. See, here's the problem with us. We got so used to white people doing everything for us that we don't want to do nothing for ourselves. And we've gotten so bad, we don't even know what we should be doing for ourselves versus what we should be fighting them to do. You should not be fighting them to teach your kids who they are. You should not be fighting them to teach your kids who you are. That's your job. Do we got to fight them for the criminal justice system? Hell yeah. Police brutality? Hell yeah. But fighting them to teach your kids their history when they don't even know it or care about it? You got a church on every other corner. Why can't the black church give out free black history lessons once a week? Because all they care about is money. That's why.
Oh, that's church is a different question. So, Dr. Umar, do you preach integration or separation?
Neither.
Let's go.
I preach independence. Independence. It's not about integration, separation, because you can't control what people do. Right? That's number one. And number two, I can't control who somebody want to date, sleep, be with. All I'm saying is let's build our own infrastructure. So black people not dependent on white folks for their health, for their food, for their employment, for their mortgage. Independence. Go to a Chinatown. Chinese are independent. Going to Arabs are independent. They still integrate socially. I ain't got no problem with that. If that's what you want to do, they're going to leave these bunnies alone anyway. I'm saying build infrastructure so our people ain't got to depend on white folks. And if you are an integrationist, here's my question. Why is the bedroom the only place white folks are interested in showing their love for black people? If white people love us so much, why is the bedroom the only place we see true integration? Why we don't see it at the bank when we need a mortgage? Why we don't see it with the police when they pull us over? Why we don't see it with the judge in the courtroom? Why we don't see it with the way they treat our kids in the schools? If white people are so in a rush to marry you, because all over TV, all you see is what? Mixed race couples, right? All the commercials, all the shows. If they love you this much, why don't you see it anywhere outside of the bedroom? Because it's a scam. They brainwashing black kids into believing you can only be happy with a white person. Genocide for the black family.
Let me ask you about the black man who he feels it's his responsibility to only date black women. What do you say to that man far as?
That's the man. That's what you're supposed to do.
Okay, yeah. You ain't got no problem. Like
cultural commitment. Yeah,
like
that's what you're supposed to do.
He does not, like, I would not stick my Peter into.
No bunny hopping.
Man.
None. No rice, no ice, no spice, no sand, no salsa.
I also saw on one podcast that the black woman doesn't want the black man because he has not made himself suitable to, be with the black woman. What does a black man need to be in order to get the thing that he feels like he's not getting from the black woman? Because you hear a lot of what I like, the submissiveness and the docileness from the other races.
It's ridiculous for a black man to be looking for a docile black woman, because if she became docile, she would be destroyed in this society. Do you realize how many black women are raped and molested? She got to get tough in order to protect herself. 1 out of every 4 black women are. Most of us in this room are going to marry a woman who is. She got to get tough because she ain't got no father in the house. She got to fight back. She ain't got no uncle to go to. The uncle might have been the molester. So we got to realize that our women have been through a lot. And for me, I don't have a problem with black men criticizing black women, right?
Right.
But don't do it in a historically amnesia way. Don't act like you don't know what she's been through.
Right.
Black women been raising 70% of the kids for 50 years by themselves. What you expect her to act like? She's been doing your job and hers for 50 years, and you want her to get down on all fours and say, yes, massa. For what? First of all, you can't expect a black woman to go serve a white man and then come home and serve you too. There can only be one king.
Facts.
Which one is it? Because if it's you, why she got to go for a white man?
Right. Facts.
So then I have to ask you,
We can't have it both ways.
Cat Williams set the internet on fire last year on Club Shay Shay, where he mentioned this year. I'm sorry, I'm already in the future, goddamn. Where he mentioned all the celebrity black actors that have the superficial, light skin black wife. They put a picture up of all the people we were talking about. And they all have like the same similar looking.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I never watched the interview fully through, but I didn't know that there was a segment where he dealt with the light-skinned wife piece.
Yeah, I was like, what do you think about that? Because he showed
It's intentional.
Is it intentional?
It's not just the actors. You can come into the black consciousness community.
Oh.
You can come into the woke world. And all the people you see on YouTube talking black talk, look at their wives. Most of them look like they could pass for Latino.
What do you feel that is?
Self-hate.
Self-hate, wow.
Let me give you something. And these are my heroes, so I'm not putting them down. Sheikh Anta Diop. Has anybody ever heard that name? You need to look him up. CheikHantadiop. Sheikh Anta Diop. He wrote a plethora of books that everybody needs to read. I haven't read them all yet. One of them is The African Origin of Civilization. This is the black man who snuck into the museums of Egypt and took skin off the mummies of Egypt and came up with a melanin dosage test to prove that the Egyptians had to be black based on the amount of pigmentation in their skin. He revolutionized the field of anthropology. And guess what? His wife was white. What am I saying to you? Knowledge and consciousness does not replace conditioning. You can know everything about black history, but if you have not internalized it, if you are not convicted by it, you can. And I'm not calling an ancestor that, but I'm showing you that just having knowledge of self does not preclude you from falling victim to the same types of self-hate as every other black man in the community does.
So when you see
black men are in large part light-skinned supremacists. We are biased towards lighter-skinned women. We are biased towards mixed-race women, and we are extra biased towards white women. Yes, black men, not just in America. This is global. Black men globally, African men, due to self-hate, colonization, indoctrination, we are biased against our dark-skinned and brown-skinned women. Yes, we are.
To go back to Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders real quick, when I watch a Colorado Buffs game and I see the girls waiting when they arrive on a bus or, they get on there, it's nothing but, the snow bunnies. They're screaming, hooping and hollering. And it makes it seem like, I remember there was a movie called He Got Game where it showed the college life where he has a threesome with 2 snow bunnies. And it's almost like they made it seem like that's more fun. That's part of college for the black man or the black athlete. What do you say to the black athlete that has to kind of go against that when that's all they see?
Here's the thing. Again, the situation don't make the man. It reveals you to yourself. Look at brother Noah Lyles from the U.S. Olympic team. Did he not just marry a dark-skinned Jamaican sister? You see what I'm saying? He said, I don't care what the world want me to do. I don't care what my Olympic coaches want me to do. I know this ain't good for marketing, but I'm not here for that. That's my queen. She chocolate, she black, and I'm going to marry her. That's why I got a lot of respect for Noah Lyles. He went against the grain. He went against the grain. But you got 2 things here. Black men feel that you're not a success unless you have a snow bunny. Part of the black man's definition of success is the snow bunny. Trae Young married not too long ago. Joel Embiid married not too long ago. They know them white women wouldn't have married them if they didn't have money. They know they're being used, and they do it voluntarily. And they know when they run out of money, she's leaving. But they don't care because they're caught up in the matrix. You see? So You know, but you also got black women have a role in this. First of all, black men are not teaching black boys to stay loyal to black women. And black women aren't teaching black boys to stay loyal to black women. I've had black mothers tell me they don't feel comfortable telling their sons that they can only date black women. How are you a whole black woman complaining about not having black men, but you can't tell your son to only date black women? Because it's a conflict of their religion. White Jesus won't let them tell their son that they can only date black girls. We are a walking contradiction. The very things we need to do to fix ourselves, we find an excuse not to do them.
Man, that's crazy.
Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say was the agents for professional athletes and entertainers, they tell them that having a white girl will be better for your marketability because we have to make you more acceptable to white people. So they're told to get light skin. They're told to get, if Travis Hunter's girlfriend carried on the way she carries on in public, if she was dark, they would have told him to drop her.
Free.
They would have made Travis Hunter drop her already. She's still standing because she don't look black and don't identify as black. I think she identifies as Latino.
Now, I the Latinos, right? We have a lot of Latinos there.
You got white Latinos, you got Latino Africans.
Right.
Latino is an ethnicity, not a race. You can be of different races.
Okay. But then I think you probably asked about, because a lot of them appropriate the culture, but you feel like they belong there. They're not appropriating, they are black.
If you don't identify as African, you are appropriating the culture. I don't care about your biology, I care about your psychology.
Right. Now, what I was going to say is, so I remember you was talking about the sisters and how they dress. And one of the things you was like, the sister is beautiful, but until she learns how to cover up and be more modest, I believe you were talking about Sukihana.
Black women in general
right,
could stand to dress a little more modestly. They could.
Okay.
Some of them are objectifying themselves to the point where it almost appears that they're selling even when they're not. And it's giving our daughters a bad influence because they also feel that I have to sell my body in order to be attractive to a man. So they need to calm it down, right? But that's not my biggest issue because not all black women dress in a promiscuous way. My issue is the fake hair. They got to give it up. First of all, y'all spending too much money on this fake hair. That money could be doing so much for black women, so much for black girls. We got a black girl problem. We got child trafficking problem. We got homeless black woman with children problem. And y'all spending $30 billion out here on beauty and hair. Get rid of them perms and weaves and wigs. If it was up to me, all black women would be shaved bald and grow it back natural.
So what do you say to white Jesus when Jerusalem is in the middle of the Middle East? You know, Bethlehem, we already know the locations of those. When they say Jesus is of pale skin and, you know, when you hear the other side, woolly hair, what are your thoughts what they taught us as, you know, of what Jesus to look like and then go from there where we look at Jesus
was an African. We know this because prior to the Council of Nicaea, 325 AD, Emperor Constantine, that's when Jesus was made the Son of God. He was not universally considered the Son of God before 325. And that's when they discontinued the truth of his Ethiopian lineage. Prior to 325, when they said Jesus was born in a manger in Bethlehem, it was widely known that Jesus was born in a cave in Ethiopia. Jesus is black. Every coin and statue of Christ prior to the rise of white supremacy has him as black. The oldest painting of Jesus, which I think is in the Cairo Museum, I have a picture of it, a replica of it. He's black and all 12 of the disciples is black. Y'all saw the president of Russia, Putin. He went down into the Vatican, not the Vatican, but the cathedral in Russia and showed you all the black images of Christ in the disciples. Remember now, the word Christ, Christos, which is a word that speaks of the soul that rises within. Christ is a title. In ancient African culture, you could not be called a Christ if your son was not black, if your skin was not black, because the melanin, the chemical, not color, it's power, it's energy. The melanin is what gives you the ability to access higher levels of spiritual consciousness in the first place. So you had to be dark to be a Christ, because the darker your skin, the greater your spiritual propensity to reach higher levels of spiritual reality. You tap into other dimensions based on the amount of melanin in your body. So he had to be black. Every prophet was black. There was never a prophet that came into this world of any religion that was not an African, because African people are the children of God. We are the chosen ones. Being chosen has nothing to do with being a Hebrew. It has nothing to do with being Muslim. It got nothing to do with being Jehovah's Witness or a Christian, none of that. Being chosen is being God's original people, and that is the African. We're the black, we're the color of the black soil, which is the richest soil in the world. Why do judges wear black robes? Why do you put on a black robe when you graduate? Because blackness is divine, it is divinity. So if they get you to tap out of your blackness, you tap out of your divinity. The biggest scam being ran on black people is color don't matter. You know why it don't matter? Because they don't have it. Remember, every other race comes from you. You're the only race who comes from God. Your DNA goes to God. There's no race that can say black people came from us. But guess what? Everybody has to say that about you. Everybody came from the black man. The first ancestor in China, black. First ancestor in India, black. First ancestor in Russia, black. Show me a people who don't have Africans as their ancestors. Now show me a people who can claim that they are the ancestors of the Africans. Nobody. We are the chosen ones. But we got to tap back into our blackness. Your blackness is your birthright. It is your connection to supreme consciousness.
So does that mean that if you don't have melanin, then you can't access God?
Well, first of all, everybody has melanin.
Okay.
Even Neanderthals. They just have a very small amount of it.
Gotcha.
Right? Everybody has melanin.
Okay.
We have the highest amount. Can they access? Yes, but not as quickly, not as efficiently, and not as powerfully as you can. You feel me? A black person tapped into their spirituality is God incarnate. God incarnate. And see, I understand why the snow bunnies are attracted to black men, because on a spiritual plane, the white man, he can't take them where you can take them spiritually. Also, in terms, the first law of existence or survival is self-preservation. So the white woman will be attracted to a black man she hates. You got white women who hate black people, but she feels drawn to the black man. Like, why do I want to copulate? I don't even like black people. Because on a subconscious level, your ancestors are screaming out, go get some of that black DNA before your ass no longer exists. Remember now, in America right now, what do we have? 25 of the 50 states have a white zero growth population rate. Right now, 25 states have more white people joining their ancestors than being born.
Oh.
And I don't wish that on nobody, you understand?
Right.
But my point is, they're struggling to survive. They're already the world's minority. They're about to become a super minority. And that's why they need your DNA to give them an energy boost so they can survive a couple more generations.
What do you say to society putting, when it comes to the color, black, white, where they make black like darkness, almost evil, almost, and white, light, pure, blackness, lack of color? To your point, look at the numerical code that the Caucasian gave to melanin. Y'all know what the numerical code is for melanin, right? 666. The numerical code for the chemical that makes us black is 666. In other words, he demonized your spiritual power because he don't have it. Remember now, when the white man used to hang our ancestors, he castrated us 99% of the time, right? You could hardly find a black man hang who wasn't castrated. Why did he castrate you? He hung Chinese, didn't castrate him. Hung Jews, didn't castrate him. Hung Italians, didn't castrate him. Why did he castrate the black man? Because of your genetic superiority. We are the only men who can reproduce ourselves in any woman. Any woman I lay with that's a black child. He can't do that.
The white man can only reproduce himself with a white woman. If he lays with any other woman, he remakes another one of her, not himself. He hates the black man for that. You have genetic supremacy. You can go anywhere and make a black child. He can't, he hates you. And cutting off your penis is a metaphorical and symbolic way of cutting off your power.
So with that being said, let me ask you about the LGBTQ community.
The rainbow.
Yeah, what do you feel the representation like? When I look at Elton John versus RuPaul.
Is Elton John rainbow?
He likes
him.
Yeah. So exactly. They portray him like when you look at Lil Nas X versus I can't know anybody know another white young who represent, I don't know, but it always makes us look like we're just so flamboyant.
They make us flamboyant.
Yeah, it's just
ultra feminine. Well, you know, when white people catch the cold, black people catch the flu. Anytime they have a problem, we have to take it to the 20th power. And you see the same thing with the LGBTQ. Right? A white man to be you'll never know because he's not effeminate. A black man to be and he has to intentionally, still typically effeminize everything he does. He got to change the way he walk, change the way he talk, change the way he laugh. You understand? Yeah. He has to embody it to the 20th power. We do that in order to please them.
Damn. So
and for the black man, it's castration of black masculinity.
Yeah, dude, you feel like they want to, because they seem to put a lot of emphasis on that. When someone is like more flamboyant, they're like, oh, he moves 5 grades up versus if he was, more reserved, more of a gentleman.
Well, remember now, we are living in an age, thanks to President Barack Obama, who all y'all voted for, we're living in an age where if you are a black male, you are being given a preference if you are. There is a black male preference in American society. And our boys are seeing how black male are being given privilege. If you look at the church, if you look at media, Don Lemon and etc., right? If you look at college and university, if you look in the film, even in music to some extent, black males have a greater likelihood of success than black males. They may be mistreated in the community, but purely looking at opportunity for success, the minute you say you are, doors will open for you if you're a black male. Why? Because a black male is no threat to the white power structure.
Right. So
he is no threat to the white power structure.
Right.
They will give him a job 50 times before they give you a job. They give you the job. They think his wife gonna want to give them pale cookies. Aunt want to give you cookies, right? If you hire a masculine black man, you can't mistreat him. You ain't gonna be able to keep the white women away from him.
Right.
You understand? You can't imitate his swag.
Right.
But if you get that effeminate black male, he'll be your best worker. And your number one snitch.
Damn.
And I love all black folks. Brothers, I don't hate you. I ain't got no issue with you. I just disagree with your lifestyle. Stop running around telling people I hate you. I don't hate nobody. I love all black folks. I just disagree with your lifestyle.
Who should we have voted for?
Neither.
Thank you.
Kamala Harris had no agenda for blacks. Donald Trump had no agenda for blacks. You see, he only put one black person on his cabinet. And you see Daniel Penny, the murderer who our brother in the sub, Donald Trump brought him to the Army-Navy game to sit up in a box with him. So that he spit in every black person's face who voted for him. And I can't believe you have black people running around championing Donald Trump for president. That was crazy. It was crazy to champion Kamala Harris, but to champion Donald Trump too?
Can you list the reasons why black people should not be riding with Donald Trump?
Either one, though. It's not different. Like, see, y'all got this thing that Democrats are different. It's all the same. Okay. It's all the same. Number one, what has he said he's going to do for black people? Listen, we got 5 major problems. Miseducation, mass incarceration, gentrification and homelessness, police genocide, access to wealth. Which one of those 5 mega problems of black America did Kamala Harris speak to or Donald Trump spoke to? Which one? None. None.
No prison, no.
So why are you voting? We should have organized our vote and not voted. The best thing we could have done was put them 50 million votes on the table and say, since y'all not speaking to us, y'all not getting them. Come see us in 4 years. make them earn your vote. But you got people like Swollen Martin and all these other people running around trying to make you feel like you got to vote for somebody or you disobeying your ancestors. That's all crap.
Well, when I tell people that, like, there was no viable candidate.
There wasn't.
But
that's our fault too, though.
No, for sure.
We never make nobody speak for us. We let Barack Obama waste 8 years of our time, ain't do nothing for black folks, set us all the way back. Obama set us back more than we realized, bro. You know why Donald Trump ignored black people his first term? Because Barack Obama ignored black people both terms. Why Joe Biden ignored black people? Joe Biden came into office and told black people, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. Turn right around and sign what? An anti-transgender bill, Asian hate bill, Native American violence bill, gave money to the Afghanis, who Russia fighting? The Ukrainians. Ain't did nothing for black people. He gave you Juneteenth holiday. What the hell we needed a Juneteenth holiday? Don't we party enough? We didn't need another holiday. First of all, we already celebrate Juneteenth. We didn't need the feds. You know why he did that?
Right.
Whenever the federal government adopts a black holiday, they the power. They the power in Dr. King Day. Don't nobody take that serious no more. They Kwanzaa. When they started celebrating Kwanzaa at the White House, they it. People don't take Kwanzaa. It's commercial now. It's commercial. And now they then took over Juneteenth. In the past 2 years, Juneteenth has been taken over by the Rainbow Gangers. Go anywhere, the Rainbow Gang run Juneteenth now. I don't want the government adopting my holidays. We don't have nothing sacred in Black America. Y'all know that? Mm. What do we have that if you're not black, you cannot do it or touch it or go inside of it? Think about that. Is there a place you can't enter unless you're black? Is there a holiday you can't celebrate unless you're black? Is there an article of clothing you can't wear unless you're black? Chinese got things. If you're not Chinese, you can't touch it. You can't hold it. You can't be a part of it. Jews got that. Latinos got that. We're the only people who have nothing sacred. Anybody can come and do anything black people do. Nothing sacred. That's our fault. We have multiculturalized ourselves out of respect.
So can you tell us your thoughts?
Who gave me sparkling water?
Yeah, is it sparkling? Oh man, yeah, sparkling. Oh man, that's a white man's creation. So when it comes to February, Black History Month, Juneteenth, those are supposed to be for us. Yeah. We're supposed to have everybody stop and let us celebrate us. Are you saying we lost those dates as well?
We lost them because we gave them up to the government. We gave them up to white people. When we started letting white people participate in Kwanzaa, I knew it was over. When we started letting the White House celebrate Kwanzaa, I knew it was over. When the founder of Kwanzaa, Dr. Malana Karinga, said that white people can participate, but they cannot lead it, I knew it was over. Because white people don't share power, y'all. Y'all need to understand something about Caucasians. They don't share power. If you let them in, they're coming to dominate. We are the worst victims of racism, but we understand it the least. The minute you let them in your community, they taking it. You let them in your business, they taking it. They don't share. They don't share, and we keep acting like we can share with them. They don't share.
Wait, is it the imagery of, because it seems like, oh, this person's in power, that black man's in power, this black. Is it just them?
Just
they're just giving us.
We confuse an overseer with a master. Barack Obama was an overseer. He's not a master. Kamala Harris, Clarence Thomas, Condoleezza Rice, Colin Powell, rest in peace. They overseers. They not the masters. You see what I'm saying? We got to recognize you are overseer to the master. You ain't the master.
What about Atlanta? When you go to Atlanta and all the black people are, feels like Wakanda or something. Like, what do you think about Atlanta? Do you think they got it?
Atlanta is progressive, but white power is still very much there, though.
Okay.
Because we don't have a black hospital in Atlanta. Do we? No. There's not a single hospital in America that's owned and funded by black people exclusively. Not one.
Can we recreate a Black Wall Street?
Absolutely can, when black people value independence. Remember, when they burned down Tulsa, when they burned down Rosewood, when they burned down Charleston, South Carolina, when they burned down Wilmington, North Carolina, because we had dozens of Black Wall Streets. Tulsa was just the most popular, right? But guess what? After they burned down, a lot of them black people came back to rebuild. You know what happened? Their children and grandchildren wanted to integrate. They did not want to have their own. We prefer white. We want access to white proximity. Remember, we had 500 hospitals that was black in America. We had 500 hospitals.
Hey.
Not one today. Why? We want proximity to whiteness. We move into white neighborhoods because we send our kids to white private school. We go snow bunny hopping. We love white people. And we don't want to admit it. Black people are in love with white folks. You niggas here, you love them. You love them. But we don't want to admit it. And psychologically speaking, if you don't admit you sick, you can never find a cure.
I have to say this because, a Superman trailer just came out. Brand new Superman movie.
More white.
Yeah, blue eyes.
Yeah.
White, and it's supposed to give
the black woman's ideal husband is Superman.
It's supposed to give even the young black kid hope. Do you feel like we're losing, where they don't have no black superheroes kind of across the board almost?
We need to come up with a whole new movement of new black superheroes. We need a strong one. We could take our kids' minds back. We could take our kids' minds back. I'm working on the Prince of Pan-Africanism series now, where I'm going to deal with racism, bunny hop, and everything. It's going to be a nice joint. But here's the thing. Superman is the children's version of the Christian church. You go to church, there's a white savior. You go to the Superman movie, there's a white savior. What's the difference? Why is it okay to worship a white man on Sunday, but it's not okay to worship a white man on Saturday at the movie theater? And you know what's crazy about all these white superheroes? Guess where they come from? Guess where they come from?
The sky.
They were all plagiarized from African divinities. Aquaman is Olokun. In the Yoruba pantheon, Olokun is the male spirit that owns all the water. Halle Berry's Storm, that is a divinity known as Oya. She's my mother in the spiritual world. She's the empress of the winds. She's responsible for revolutionary change. Wolverine is Ogun. Incredible Hulk is Ogun. Thor is Shango. Superman is Shango. Charles Xavier is Obatala. They took our divinities of the African pantheon and turned them into superheroes. We will let our children worship the artificial white superhero and never tell them about the real life African spirit that it was stolen from.
I never knew that.
That's a real.
I want to speak to when you said we love white people.
We love them.
I would say I always had a healthy fear because I knew they had access to certain things that I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
The police.
Mm-hmm.
When the police come, no matter whatever the situation is you. You did it. You going to jail. And that was always, it was like everything was always built for it to be on their side.
Absolutely.
You grow up fearing that, so you rather not mess with it. The black people, you don't fear that because they don't have no access to law and
absolutely. A white person, even if they're poor, they have access to power. I might be a homeless white person, but let you do something to me. You have no idea that my uncle is the chief of police. You have no idea that my father is the judge you're going to see tomorrow. You have no idea that my cousin is your wife's boss. Even if a white person doesn't have power, they have access to it. They are in a spider web. They are a spider in a web. All I got to do is shake the web and I can still get you. That's what we don't understand. There's no such thing as a powerless Caucasian as far as black people are concerned.
Like Paul Mooney said, when you see a poor white person, you just say, that's a waste of white skin.
Well, the difference, though, is they could always decide to get their life together.
Right.
See, a white man can get a haircut and an education enjoying the power structure. You could get a haircut, education, you're never going to be into the power structure.
Umar, let me ask you,
you can only be a puppet of the power structure. That's why people say black people racist. Black people can't be racist. Racism is complete domination and control over resources, opportunities, and privileges. Black people don't control no resources. You don't control no opportunities. And you don't control no privileges, so you can't be racist. Can you be a bigot? Hell yeah, you can hate white people because they're white. But can you do anything about your bigotry? Hell no. Racism is discrimination times power. You got to have the power to impact people. If a white person get mad at you, you automatically start thinking, who do they know that me up?
Facts.
You get pissed off at a white person, they laugh and keep going because they know you know nobody who could mess with them. And the Negroes you know in position who could mess with them, they too scared to mess with them.
The military.
I don't want us in the military, especially not now, because peacetime is over. If your son or daughter get into the military now, they're going to have to die. Excuse me, they're going to have to go to the front line. Their life will be put in jeopardy because peacetime is over. Now, if you went in the military in the 70s and the 80s, from Vietnam to the Gulf War, you was good because America really wasn't, they wasn't doing too much. Now, ooh, it's going to be tough now. It's going to be tough now. And I don't want nobody dying for white men to get access to land, resources, dope. Because that's what you fight for. Nobody goes anywhere to fight to make the world safe for democracy. You fight to make the world safe for capitalist exploitation.
For what they got.
Right. We need that gas. We need that oil. We need the gold. We need the diamonds. We need that piece of land. That's what wars are for. Nobody fighting for no democracy. If voting could change anything in the world, voting will be illegal everywhere in the world.
Hey, get back to kings and queens.
The greatest trick the white man pulled is making everybody think you can replace him with voting.
I mean, I will go back to Barack, but we've already talked about it. So let me ask you this. Let's do it like this.
Because the alternative to voting is what? Revolution.
For
so
real.
They gotta make you think. This is why they need black people to vote. They need you to go vote because that is their meter. That's how they can tell if we still run these niggas. You see, when they say voter turnout for Barack Obama, 92%, the white man is like, okay, good. They still believe in the system. If black people ever didn't vote at all, let's say no blacks vote, they're going to be worried because the only alternative to democracy is revolution. Show me a people who ever got out of oppression through voting. No. Why do you think wars are fought? Wars are fought because some person wants to take and control everything, and somebody else says, I'm not going to let you do it.
Facts.
Like even when we talk about reparations, right? And we're entitled to reparations. And by the way, if we get reparations, if you are a bunny hopper, you don't get no money.
Oh, well. Okay.
Right? But stay with me. What the white man owes us is so much.
Yeah.
Wars have been fought for less than that. Are you with me?
I'm with you.
Wars have been fought for less than what America owes black people. So what makes you think you're going to get it without bloodshed? Which takes me to another point. What have we ever gotten in America without bloodshed?
Man.
Didn't we get out of with bloodshed?
Come on.
Voting Rights Act, bloodshed.
Facts.
Civil Rights Bill, bloodshed. Housing Act, bloodshed. Black Power, bloodshed. Everything you got in America, you got through blood. What makes you think it's going to change now? Why do you think we ain't made no more progress? Because ain't nobody died for it.
Ain't nobody willing to die.
Why don't nobody want, this is a question I asked Charleston White too. Why is no one willing to die anymore? Why nobody want to die?
Well, black men, we have lost about 50% of our masculinity. And I'm not talking, I'm talking black men are not as masculine as we used to be. We don't fight like we used to be. We don't build for the people like we used to be. We don't challenge the white power structure like we used to be. We are not as masculine as we used to be. In fact, we may be the least masculine generation of black men that ever walked American soil.
And that's a tough thing to hear.
Men don't compromise.
Yeah.
We compromise on everything.
How do we, and I'd be worried about having this conversation, especially on camera, because I've always
go ahead.
Like, how do we mobilize? Like when do you ever think it'll come be a time where we mobilize, when we say enough is enough and we mobilize?
Here's the thing. When people have self-love, they will move out at the drop of a hat because they have self-love, right? Black people don't have self-love. I'm speaking of the group. The only way you can motivate a group of people who don't have self-love is through necessity. The only way Black people are going to stand up and fight back against racism is if they beat us down so bad, we feel compelled to react. Are y'all following me? We don't have enough love to organize beforehand and prepare. Only people who love themselves prepare. Black people don't prepare for shit. We react to everything. Reaction is only anger. When Michael Brown got murdered, we reacted. We should have reacted, but there was no proaction after that. Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, Tommy Wright, Sonia Bland, Sonia Met, right? Yeah. We react. Anger. It's easy to tear shit up. It's easy to tear shit up. That's anger. But when are you going to build something? What was ever built as a result of one of these police genocides? Smithsonian. Think about that. Did we build anything as a result of Trayvon? Did we build anything as a result of Breonna or Tommy? No.
We tried.
Because you need love to build. We don't love ourselves. So the only way you can motivate people who don't love themselves to act, necessity.
You know, I feel like, and then you say that and it's so true, you know, I've watched my mother live through the condition that was so bad sometimes. It was like, we shouldn't be living like this, but if she can do it, then I know I can live like this. And it's never, I always felt like no matter what I go through, it'll never break me. But there are people who wouldn't stand for that condition that I had to live in with my mama. You know what I'm saying? They would mobilize. But we feel like our struggle, we have power in our struggle. We rap about it. We make songs about it. Like we love to struggle. Like we've embraced the struggle so much.
And I'll tell you why. Struggling against the white power structure doesn't require a sacrifice. To build for your community requires a sacrifice. Black people don't want freedom. We want comfortability.
Come on now.
If the white man tomorrow in Dallas said, we leaving Dallas to the blacks. All white people are leaving. You not blaming us for nothing else. We out. The city's yours. Do you know what would happen in 24 hours?
Anarchy.
Black people would go and get the white people and bring them back. That's how much we love white folks. And that's how much we disrespect them. No, I'm serious. We would go get them and bring them back. We don't want to live nowhere without white folks. We need to understand it. Because see, here's the thing. If the white man leaves, now you're responsible for black boys. You're responsible for the education. All them sisters who getting welfare checks and free housing, you got to fill that void now. Do black men really want responsibility for our women the way we claim? Because you hear black men saying, you know, the welfare reduced the black woman's respect for the black man. Okay, there's a little bit of truth to that. So if the white man cuts every black woman and child off welfare in Texas, are black men going to step up and make the necessary sacrifices, the responsibilities and accountability to take over where the white man took out?
There's a lot of black men in the building. I don't see no heads saying
Y'all
yes.
know damn well most black men are not voting on that responsibility.
So
we still live under the protection of the white man's power structure.
So Umar, let me ask you, when it comes to reparations, what would you personally for you?
Reparations.
What would that look
music.
like?
All black music comes back to black people. Nobody can sell black music but black people. Nobody can record black music from black people. There's no Eminems, there's no Khaled's, there's no DJ Vlad's. Nobody can exploit black music. We own all the masters. That's Michael Jackson, that's Prince, that's Biggie, that's Pac. We own all black music, period. We're the only ones who can market it, sell it, perform it, produce it, distribute it. Black music is ours. If we only had that and nothing else,
we already up.
We could build a Black Wall Street in every city off our music.
Come on.
You know, music is one of America's top exports, you know.
Yes.
Black music in particular. If we just ran Black music, we could build up every Black city.
Come on.
But I'm not going to stop there. All Black inventions have to revert back to us too. Everything we control, everything we invented, you got to pay us a license. Cell phone,
for real. Come on,
internet,
Carter.
helicopter, refrigerated truck, gas mask, stoplight.
Come on, man.
A third of your medications.
Insulin, God.
The machine to make shoes.
Come on, man.
All kind of stuff, man. All kind of stuff. The lights.
Come on.
The incandescent light, the permanent light. Ivan Van Sertima, not Ivan Van Sertima, what's my brother? Louis Latimer invented that. I want inventions. I want music. I also want control of the main port in the 10 states where 60% of Black people live. So 60% of us are in Maryland, Texas, California, New Jersey, Michigan, Illinois, North Carolina. I'm forgetting something, but there's 10 states. It's 60%
give us
of
them ports, yeah.
the port. That way we get paid on everything coming in, everything going out.
Come on.
I also want a 25% cut on all of America's revenue. Anything America make money on, natural resources. She got gold, she got gas, she got wool, she got solar power.
Yeah.
We get a 25% cut forever.
I like that.
Also, certain natural resources we control forever. Remember, the benefit of to the white man can never expire, right? As long as there is in America, white people getting rich off it, right?
Yeah.
That means whatever we get for reparations should likewise never expire. If it runs out, you got played. Because as long as America exists, she benefits from your. You feel me?
I feel you.
So that's why when people say money, I don't want no money. Why we got money on the list of if you are asking for cash, then your reparations list ain't worth money.
That's what I said.
Because your reparations list should put you in a position to make all the money you want on your own. What you need to pay out from info. But Black people are so worried about money that we can't see the bigger picture. We also fail to recognize that reparations is not just for us living, it's for those gone and those not yet here.
Come on.
I ain't heard nobody talk about how much we're gonna put to the side for the generations unborn yet.
Facts.
And that's why I believe that this generation of Blacks in America, we shouldn't get the reparations. We are too irresponsible.
Ain't ready.
We will waste it.
Yeah.
Put the reparations in a trust somewhere until we get a more revolutionary, more conscious group of Blacks. Let them decide what to do with it. We ain't there.
Yeah.
Look at all the bunny hopping and shit we do. What we doing with reparations?
Easter Sunday.
No. So we can blow the money. I had a sister text me one day. You know what she said? Can you stop talking against reparations because I need that money to pay my bills?
Oh, man. Short-minded.
Reparations is to repair, not to pay your weed bill.
Fix my debt.
Oh, man. And you see Bob Johnson, the former owner of BET?
Yeah.
Bob Johnson said every Black person in America, what did he say? Should get 300, or was it 500? I think it was $375,000.
Yeah, something like that.
Nigga.
Something like that. Buy that Ferrari.
$375,000. Is that even a house in dollars?
Nah, not really.
That's not even a house. And this is one of your black billionaires recommend.
Look, we got rappers around here walking around with that.
Yeah. That's what I'm
little
saying.
backpack.
Yeah. Come on, man. $375,000, and that's a billionaire. A billionaire
said that. Come on.
That's why you can't have celebrities as the spokespersons for the race. But if you notice, we're the only race whose celebrities are the spokespersons. You notice that. Yeah. No other group do you see basketball players, rappers, and actors being the spokesperson for what their people are fighting for and fighting against.
Yeah, they be quiet.
You ain't never seen a bunch of Jewish celebrities. Think about that. You ain't never seen a bunch of Latino celebrities be the spokespersons for Latino issues. Only with Black people. You want to know why? Because they want to make sure the real issues never get discussed. If I put a microphone in front of LeBron James, and I like LeBron, but if I put a microphone in front of LeBron James, he ain't never going to discuss the real issues. I put a microphone in front of Kerry Washington. I like Sister Kerry Washington. She ain't never discussing no real issues. You see what I'm saying?
Come on.
So we got to look at that.
We're going to name some names, and I want you to rate their ism on a scale from 0 to 10. And let's start off with O.J. Simpson. What would you?
In peace. He was a 10.
He was a 10?
He was a 10.
It's 4.
He was an eternal bunny hopper.
Oh, eternal.
And don't you know, after OJ beat the case, after OJ beat the case, the NBA All-Star game was in Philly, where I live, born and raised, right? Don't you know OJ beat the case, and a couple years later, he had the NBA All-Star game in Philly, not with one snow bunny. He had 2 of them.
Oh, man.
Nigga, you just got off.
Oh, he didn't get, yeah, that's eternal.
And you gonna rub it in the white man's face and come back with 2 white girls?
Oh, that's
and
eternal.
guess what? They got his ass. Remember they locked him up for stealing his own Heisman.
His own Heisman.
How do you go to jail for stealing your own trophy? Only in America. OJ is a 10. Who you got next?
Jonathan Majors.
Because I believe in the redemptiveness of the African spirit, after he got snow bunnied, he found Megan good. He seemed like he trying to do the right thing. He would have been a 10, but because he with a black woman now, I hope it ain't just for the optics. I'm gonna give Jonathan Majors a 6.
Okay, he proposed to her, so hopefully
I'm gonna give him a 6.
Redemption. Okay. Candace Owens.
12. She let a white man impregnate her with master DNA.
Oh, and it speak to us like, okay.
But the thing with Candace that got me, no disrespect to you, Candace, I still respect you as a person. But when somebody sent me a clip of her having a conversation with her Caucasian husband of British origin, they said they got engaged, I believe, after 18 days. So can somebody help me understand how a black woman born in America goes to the UK, meets a white man, and gets engaged in 18 days? That means you married him for his complexion because you didn't know enough about him to marry him for anything else.
Cam Newton.
Killer Cam? His baby mamas is black, right? I don't think he goes snow dipping. I don't think Cam been bunny hopping.
I don't think so, but you never know with these athletes. I mean,
oh wait, hold on.
I need Cam, and I can't even say this because I'm not married right now, but I need Cam to start thinking about, even if he don't get legally married, I need Cam to start thinking about settling down with 1 or 2 queens. Because I'm going to have 2 queens.
Yeah, there you go, 1 or 2.
Cam Newton, settle down with 1 or 2 queens, my brother. Same thing for my brother Nick Cannon. Shout out to Nick.
We're gonna come back to that.
Yeah, we'll come back to Nick.
Kanye West.
Kanye be bunny hopping.
Boy.
If Kanye had a black woman, Kanye might be on my short list of the most impactful black men so far of this century. Because Kanye took on the Jews and lived to talk about it. The last man to do that was Michael Jackson, and they took his life. So if Kanye gets a black woman to stop Neanderthal hopping, Kanye would be a hero of mine. Me and Kanye could do some work together, but he got to stop bunny hopping.
What would you grade him? With
the bunny hop? I'm going to give him an 8.
Da, 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 da. All right, so let me go with Amber Rose.
I like Dave Chappelle, but he a bunny hopper.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he got a, hey, she's like.
No rice?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. No salsa,
no ice.
No ice, you goddamn.
No spice.
Come on, man, goddamn.
No sand.
The rules.
No sauce.
The rules. God. Amber Rose. What'd you throw Amber Rose?
Amber, I like Amber. I think she's a good person. I'm disappointed in the fact that she doesn't identify as a full-time African woman. Yeah. She's biracial, which means she opted out of the African kingdom. She can always return if we let her, maybe. She and I agree. We're going to do an Instagram live together. We're going to talk about the politics of biracialism in Black America.
That's a needed conversation.
But if I can't give her a number because technically she not Black because she don't identify.
That's true. And I don't know how much you know about, but let me go. I'm gonna go back in the day. Sammy Davis Jr.
I don't know enough about Sammy, but didn't he was a bunny hopper, right?
Yeah. Boy, that drugs and the cook, man. I don't want to talk about it.
Pryor, rest in peace, greatest comedian of all time. He's a bunny hopper.
Yeah.
I think Eddie Murphy just got snow bunnied again in another marriage, right?
Yeah. So can I ask you about the greatest bunny hopper of all time? Wilt Chamberlain. What would you give?
Most of those women was white?
No, I mean his
he was laying them down.
Yeah, man.
But did he marry one?
No. Okay.
He never married a bunny.
Okay, so wait, what is the rules? He never married one, but so you can hop around, but
no, you still shouldn't be hopping.
Okay. Because I gotta understand the rules of the hop.
Respect the fact he didn't wife out though.
Okay.
He didn't crash out for the cooch.
Okay. I see. Magic Johnson.
Magic got a Black wife.
Yes,
he do be cooning. And he's never spoken up for any Black issues, but because he's married to a beautiful African queen, Cookie, I'm going to give Magic a 5.
Okay.
Michael Jordan gets a 10.
Oh, damn. 10 with a
we already
with some Jordan
10.5.
with some Jordan 1s on.
He's Snow and Salsa Bunny because he got a white Cuban.
Yeah, young one too.
And she gets $1 million for every year they were married if they ever get a divorce. Did y'all hear what I just said?
What?
She gets $1 million for every year they were married if they ever divorce. Do you know what that means? He's paying her to be his wife.
I want to be.
Hold on. Young Jeezy.
I like. Well.
No rice.
No spice.
Listen, this is what I'm going to say. I'm standing with Jeezy in his fight to get custody or partial custody of his daughter because it sounds like Jenny Ma is not giving him access to his baby.
For sure.
That's not right. Beautiful child. And I will give her this. I don't support interracial marriage at all, right? So I didn't approve of the bunny hop. But I will say, at least what she shows, it looks like as a mother, she's trying to learn as much as she can about Black culture to properly raise her daughter. Y'all feel me?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to give her that. I still didn't approve of this, but I can respect the fact because a lot of non-Black mothers of Black children, they try to raise that Black child like they white. I can't tell you how many little Black girls I've seen in the schools I worked in where the white mother won't even do their Black hair. Send them to school looking all tacky and do her hair. And if you don't know how to do it, send it to a Black woman you can't raise her white. She not white, she Black. They try to ignore the race because in their racism, the white woman don't want to admit she gave birth to a Black child. You see what I'm saying? So at least with Jenny Ma, it looked like she's trying to make an effort, but still, Jenny Ma, you wrong if you keeping my brother Jeezy from his baby. Y'all need to work that out.
Pillage.
See, here's what we got to understand. And then I'm coming.
Yeah.
And why are you wearing a white Jesus?
No, this is Black Jesus.
No, it's not. He white as shit.
No. I sent a picture of Black Jesus to the jeweler.
Woolly hair.
I promise you.
Woolly hair.
I could show you the. I did it purposely. This is Black Jesus. I promise you.
We're gonna fight for that.
All right. Here's what bunny hoppers don't understand or don't consider. If this relationship dissolves, if I have a baby with a white woman, Asian woman, Arab woman, Latino woman, Native American woman, East Indian woman, this relationship don't work. There's a strong possibility. My Black child will be raised by a Chinese man, a white man, an Arab, an East Indian. She's likely to get a man of her race. You want that? You don't want another Black man raising your child, let alone somebody of another race. And that's why it's best if we don't.
So when it comes to like
keep it all Black.
Nick Cannon, he's all over the place.
Nick working on it though.
He working on it. Okay,
that's why he bring me there for therapy sessions.
Exactly, he does because he's trying. I mean, boy, he be trying.
I got to give him that.
Yeah.
Because most celebrities won't even try. Nick bore his heart to the world in an honest fashion. Right. I got to respect him for that.
I want to group two people together.
No more bunny. Well, Nick, I'm going to get Nick and Mariah back together again. That's what I'm going to do.
Thank you. Please do that. Let me group two people together. Al Sharpton and Roland Martin.
Swollen and Al. I respect Al Sharpton. He's done some things. I think he's more about the economics of Black leadership than he is about any progressive change, because I'm not aware of anything he's currently fighting for to improve the lives of Black people. Right? He's economics, race hustler. Swollen, I don't like the man. My issue with Swollen go back to an interview we did. When was it? 2015, 16. The Breakfast Club. It was my third Breakfast Club interview. I got an orange dashiki. I get a phone call from Swollen Martin's people to come back down to News One Now in DC. I've been on this show 2 or 3 times before. We never had an issue. That was not my first time on the show. I go down there. I do the show. He tries to embarrass me, asks me all type of questions about my degrees, my relationship to Frederick Douglass, things you could have found out on your own because you're a trained journalist, things you could have asked me about before I even showed up. He wanted to embarrass me. But of course, I handled my business. Him and his whole squad that day. His ratings dropped, and he got dropped by the end of the year by News One Now. I got him kicked off the show. I'm taking credit for that.
I'm gonna go back and watch that assassination.
Don't fuck with King Kong.
I'm gonna go. Ain't got on me. I gotta go back and watch. It's been a while. I'm gonna go back and watch it.
If Swollen apologizes, we'll be all right. I mean, he lost the debate anyway, but if he apologizes, we'll be all right.
All right, so
no Black person can make me hate him. I know who my enemy is, and it ain't Roland Martin, it ain't Al Sharpton, and it ain't none of these YouTubian struggle streamers. It's the Caucasian.
So we like to play a little game.
Go ahead.
That we call Hurt or Help Black People.
What, hurt or help?
Yeah. Does it hurt or does it help us?
Let's do it.
We're going to start with the first one.
Polygyny.
It depends. Polygyny can hurt if we don't do it right. If we take advantage of our women, if we don't respect them, if we just run through them like they a bunch of objectified, inanimate objects, polygyny can hurt. I was raised Muslim, and I've seen examples of where polygyny was used and women were exploited. I've seen it. So it can hurt. It can also help if the men respect Black women, if it's done in a transparent fashion where the sisters are meeting together with the husband, everybody clear on everything, everybody getting their STD checks and everything else. It can work. I'm gonna have 2 queens. There you go. I don't need 3 or 4 because I'll die. I just need 2. 2 queens.
How do you?
2 queens. 5'5", extra thick in the thighs.
And just one caveat to that. How do you know do you have to deserve polygyny? Is that something you have to earn? Where do you have to be?
In a way you do. Well, first of all, there can be no romance without finance. So you can't be broke with multiple wives because you can't take care of them. Polygyny is a privilege of those who can afford it. So that's number 1. Number 2, the women have to agree to work together. Polygyny doesn't work unless the wives can behave as sisters.
Come on.
If the wives cannot behave as sisters, you are wasting your time because they will destroy that house.
For real.
And they don't even have to live together. Like, I don't want my wives living together anyway. Have your own separate. I think women need their own space.
Left and right.
But they will destroy it if they don't get along. That's why when men do their own polygamy and say, well, she gonna be your wife. It don't work that way, bro.
Yeah.
Them two got to be sisters.
Come on.
She got to look after her kids. She got to look after her kids. They got to be married more to each other than they are to you.
Village. It takes a village.
It's the only one. Which is why with me, I would rather my wives come to me already married.
Yes.
Not because they're not touching each other. But I want them to come to me as a team already. You feel me? Yeah. Like we done already vetted each other. We coming to you as a team. We want to be the wives. Boom.
So
I like that.
So you need a hassle of having to search for them.
Hold on. You said you don't want them touching each other.
Nah.
Would you not want them to, you don't want to bed them both at the same time?
4 Cinnabons, that's a nice sight, but no.
4 Cinnabons. All right. Let's do it like this. Hurt or help Black people, Section 8. Housing.
Helps. Look at all the homeless Black women we got. Now, I hear a lot of celebrities are building affordable housing, but I'm still seeing a lot of homeless blacks. So I'm not sure about, is this affordable housing thing? Is this a real thing, or is this a hustle? Or I gotta do some more research on this celebrity affordable housing thing, because I keep hearing about it, but the homelessness rate's still going up for black folks. So I need to do some research on that.
But they say, you know, in order to keep your housing or your Section 8 or whatever, you cannot make money. You got to stay.
Oh, that's welfare, period.
Yeah, it's welfare.
Welfare, okay.
Let's go with welfare.
Remember this. Good Band-Aids are often horrible solutions. A Band-Aid is only supposed to stop the bleeding temporarily. Welfare is a good Band-Aid. You get food now, medical now, a home now. It's a horrible solution. Why? Because it stops the accumulation of wealth that you need in order to buy a house so you can give the government their apartment back. Great solution, great Band-Aid, horrible solution.
Charleston White, help or hurt black people?
I'm a pass. I'm a pass.
Jaguar Wright.
I'm a pass.
Hurt or help black people, probation.
The system itself is designed to recidivate you back into the system. But I don't want me to say hurt to be misconstrued as I don't want brothers and sisters getting out of jail early. I do. But I think the probation system is designed for you to fail. You feel me? So overall, it's a hurt because it needs to be reformed and made better.
Hurt or help black people, the NAACP.
Hurt. The NAACP. Now stay with me now. I'm looking at solution. Band-Aid, NAACP is excellent. Solution is horrible. The NAACP don't build no institutions. Outside of the 1954 Civil Rights Act, 1954 Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court decision. That's the greatest thing the NAACP ever did. And Charles Hamilton Houston and Thurgood Marshall really did it on their own. The NAACP just threw them some money to finish it. You feel me? That's the greatest thing the NAACP ever did. My problem with the NAACP today, all it does is help white people get elected to public office. The NAACP's biggest activity today is what? Voter registration. How is voter registration the biggest activity of a civil rights organization? You know what's found about white folks? Mary White Overton was a European Jew. She didn't like black people. They brought W.E.B. Du Bois and Ida B. Wells in at the end to validate it by having a couple black members, but it's a white organization. Created by the European Jews to do what? Control the progress of blacks.
Speaking of
white financed black organizations. Be careful.
All right, well, let's take it the other side. Hurt or help black people, OnlyFans.
Who?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. That was mostly used for, wasn't it?
Yeah, selling those.
Hurt.
Can't get it far.
I don't like black women promiscuous and stuff like that.
Yeah. Christmas, hurt or help?
Super hurt. We want to spend about what, $66 million on Christmas with no institutions, man? Yeah. Why would you want to start the new year in debt? Can somebody help me that? Why would Jesus want you to start the new year in debt? You take all your money from the year and blow it on stuff that nobody going to be even looking at in February. You feel me? Yeah. Nobody going to be looking at it in February. Christmas is all about helping black people start the new year in debt. I would outlaw Christmas. I wish I could outlaw Christmas.
Abortions.
Hurt. We lost over 3 million black children since the 70s through abortion. And that's not to judge nobody, right? I'm just saying it's not helping us as a race. That's right. I don't look at it morally. I look at it politically. It's not helping us as a race. But I'm going to go a step further with that though, right? If we improve economic and medical outcomes for black women, abortion would drop anyway. Most black women kill their children out of fear that they can't provide for them.
Man, that is real shit.
If we had greater opportunity, there would be less abortion.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what destiny God put in that child to fulfill in this life. See, everybody here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. When we was in heaven, before we came through our mother, we had to sit at the feet of the Almighty. And we negotiated a purpose for this incarnation. All of us been here before, and all of us will come back again unless you fulfill your destiny in this incarnation. If you don't, you got to come back. So all of us are ancestors, right? Returned. When we are born, the trauma of childbirth coming through the womb of the mother, the trauma, we forget our destiny. We recover our destiny through soul searching, divination, ancestral communication, and worship of the Almighty. You get back in touch with your destiny. Your whole life is about finding and fulfilling your purpose. And if you choose the wrong purpose, it don't matter how much money you make, you're still gonna be miserable. I can't tell you how many doctors I've met, millionaires, 2 drinks away from. You know why? Because you was not sent here to get rich off medicine. You wasn't sent here to get rich off being a lawyer. Nothing wrong with being rich, because with money you can help others. But if your life is all about the accumulation of money and materialism, you're gonna be an unhappy person, because the soul don't live off of sneakers and clothes and cars. The soul lives off of purpose. And so the point that I'm making is that child that you abort, that we abort, I'm going to claim it as the community. These children that we abort, you don't know what kind of divine purpose they had. You don't know what that child came here to do. That could have been the next Marcus Garvey. That could have been the next Harriet Tubman. You got to be careful about canceling lives that you didn't make. See, we don't create life. We procreate life. God creates life. Only God, you don't create no life. You procreate life. God creates the life. And since we don't create life, we really don't have a right to take it. Be careful about canceling lives that you didn't make. You don't know what that child was supposed to do here. Find and fulfill your destiny. The 2 biggest questions about happiness in life are what? Do you love your career? Have you found your purpose? Do you love your career? And do you love your partner? Who you spending your life with? Are you happy with them? If you love your job and hate your wife, you're going to be 50% happy. Sometimes I feel good, sometimes I don't. If you love your wife and hate your job, you're going to call out every day. If you hate your wife and hate your job, you're a miserable mofo. But if you love your wife and love your job, even if you make $50,000 a year, $30,000 a year, you're the happiest person in the world, because you love what you do and you love who you go home to.
Amen.
The more peace you have, the less money matters.
What you saying that? Do you feel like you've achieved your purpose yet?
Not yet. Because I don't want to die having been another great orator. We've had great Black orators. I'll just be another name on the list. I don't want to die being another great Black psychologist. Dr. Amos Wilson was the greatest of us all, in our opinion. I want to leave a legacy. Booker T. Washington died in 1915, but Tuskegee Institute still stands. Marcus Garvey died in 1940, but the UNIAACL still stands. Thurgood Marshall, Charles Hamilton Houston, they ancestors now. But what they fought for is still here. Dr. King, that Civil Rights Bill, that Voting Rights Act, he left a legacy. I want to leave a legacy. And the rest of my life, I want to spend it building schools. So once we get the school done in Wilmington, Delaware, FDMG, I want FDMG Dallas, I want FDMG Ghana, I want FDMG Oakland, I want FDMG Brooklyn. I want to leave this earth being the first superintendent ever of a truly global African-centered school district. So if Queen have a baby and y'all decide y'all move into Minnesota, I want an FDMG Minnesota. You say, Doc, we moving to Africa. I want to have an FDMG Johannesburg. I want a global school system that teaches our children to be what they need to be, because we don't fix this without education and economics. Change the way the children think. Education. Economics, you got to empower the people. If we don't start empowering black people, we never going to stop black on black crime. You need economic empowerment. Whenever you hear the mayor of Dallas or the governor of Texas talking about some black on black crime, whether it's Austin, whether it's Houston, whether it's Dallas, whether it's Fort Worth, Longview, I don't care where, they hypocrites. Because you cannot reduce violence without economic empowerment. The stress of not being able to make ends meet is a contributing factor in every homicide. Did y'all hear what I said? Yeah. The stress of we might have got into a fight over a dice game. I might have shot you because you looked at my girl wrong, but guess what? Somewhere in there was the stress of not being able to make ends meet. Deal with the economics or you'll never deal with the emotion.
That's real. I have to ask you for the critics that question about, the Frederick Douglass School.
Well, here's my thing about the critics of the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy. What institution have you built for black people that has made you an expert on how long it takes to build an independent school with all black money? You can't be an expert in it. You want to know why? Because this is the first school of its type ever built in America. You never had a school in the history of this country built by black people with all black money that actually began operation in a real school building. Do you feel me? You've had others, but they started in the church. They started in the home. They started in the basement. They started in the storefront. We got 2 schools, modern buildings. We're going to start in a real building from day one, and we did it all with the black dollar. Never been done before, so they can't speak to it. Because they never done it.
Now, you've been putting together this school for a long time.
We took our first donation in St. Louis, Missouri, April 12th, I think, of 2014. We purchased FDMG February the 7th of 2019. So 5 years to raise money. This coming February the 7th will be 21, 2, 3, 4, will be 6 years that we've owned the building. In my opinion, buying a school after 5 years, 2 of them, modern buildings after 5 years, in my opinion, is not a long time.
No, it's not.
Getting them schools ready in 6 years after purchase, in my opinion, is not a long time. And guess what? It wouldn't have took that long. The biggest reason for our delay is what? Black contractors who wasn't worth it. We got robbed, scammed. Not a single black contractor we hired to do any work ever finished what we paid them for. That's why we should have been open in 2022, bro. Black contractors. This ain't about money. This ain't about mismanagement. Black contractors did us dirty.
So can we trust the black business? Man? Can we trust?
Yeah, you got to find the right one because guess what? We got 2 schools, right? This is the Marcus Garvey Elementary School that we finishing. When we're done, we got to go across the street to the Frederick Douglass High School. And guess what? I'm going to go right back out there and try to find some black contractors to do it right because I can't quit on my people.
So
we don't quit on white folks.
No, we don't.
You feel me? Even when I see all the American Africans who be talking about the immigrant Africans, and don't get me wrong, we do have a lot of immigrant Africans who come here and treat black people like and go kiss white people. I've seen them. Just because I'm a Pan-Africanist, I'm not blind to the chauvinisms that we have within our race, right? But here's my thing. Why are American Africans so quick to cancel immigrant Africans after a couple years? You ain't canceled white people yet after 4 centuries. Think about that now.
That's crazy.
We will cancel an African immigrant with the quickness if he throws some shade. White people been shading for 405 years, and you ain't canceled them yet. Look at the double standard.
It's crazy. Man, that black contractor thing put my head up. They don't know. They don't see you and be like, "Hey, you the champion."
I'm gonna tell you what I think. No. I'm gonna tell you what part of the problem is. I'm gonna give you 2. This is why we struggle with the black contractors. Number 1, the YouTubian struggle streamers have falsely created a narrative that says we've collected multiple millions of dollars.
I saw that.
Right?
Yeah, I saw that.
We haven't broke $1 million yet, bro.
Yeah.
And they telling people we collected millions. So let's say you a contractor. You watching YouTube. And Dr. Umar Enemies is telling you Dr. Umar got 10 mil easy, 5 mil easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to overcharge me. Mm-hmm. And you ain't going to bother to do the damn work because you're going to say he got enough money, he can find somebody else to pay. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So the lies on YouTube work against us getting the proper work. That's number one. I'm going to give you number two. You know what number two is? A lot of our contractors were young, under the age of 50, right?
Right.
I believe some of them had trouble completing the work because they're not used to working for Black people who can afford to pay them what we was able to pay them.
Right.
In other words, even though we had an electrical contract that was $160,000, we had to fire them. They never finished the work, right? But I think they had an issue with the fact that I was able to pay it. Do y'all feel me? It's almost like, who is he?
Right.
To be able to pay this. Only white people pay this.
Right.
How this young dude is able to sign a contract for $160,000? And so I think sometimes they hated the fact that it was somebody their age who was able to literally hire them and pay them. And I think they couldn't work for me because I was Black.
No, yeah.
And they couldn't work for me because I was Dr. Umar. And you know the saddest part, bro? When I look back on this, we almost done now because we had to hire white people. We got, after waiting 4 years on Black people, I decided to start hiring whites. And guess what? They did in 1 year what the Black people couldn't do in 5. Y'all hear that? They did in 1 year what the Black people couldn't do in 5. White people overcharged us too, but they finished the work.
Yeah.
Right? But let me give you this though. And I can say this now because I'm over it. FDMG to almost every Black contractor we ran into was nothing but a hustle and a way to get a quick bag. When I look back, they simply used us to get money. They didn't care about me. They didn't care about that school. They didn't care about our kids. We were just a quick hustle.
And you know, that was where my next question was leading to, because I feel like even if they didn't want to represent you publicly or publicly come out and say, I am giving
just move on.
Not even that.
Don't even waste our time and take our money.
Right. And then like when you speak about hip hop and actors, like even if they didn't want to be like, I'm with Dr. Umar, they still should have put the dollars into your.
We've never gotten a donation from a single celebrity. Even the ones I know.
And that's why.
But I don't mind it though. I'm gonna tell you why. I believe this might be different for the second school. I hope it is different for the second school because that high school can cost us more money to rehab, right? I believe it was the divine. I don't think the Almighty wanted any celebrity money in this school because the Almighty wanted Black people to see that we can do this ourselves.
Amen.
We don't need white money and we don't need rich Black money. You feel me? When we open up that school, there ain't no celebrity who can say, I gave him half. I gave him a quarter. You feel me? I flipped the HVAC. I flipped the election. Yeah. We're going to open that school purely off the pennies of Black people worldwide. And to me, if a celebrity bankroll half the school, we still took the easy way out. I'm glad it happened the way it happened.
Last one on Her to Help Black People, the N-word.
Oh, hurt. We should never be using the N-word, bro. And we're the only people who fight for the right to use a pejorative term. You don't see Asians fighting for the right to use the words people called them. You don't see Latinos fighting for. We're the only people who will fight for the right to use the most harmful word ever created to describe a people in the history of mankind. We sick, bro. We sick. Somebody sent me a clip. One of our celebrities was begging the white person to say the N-word. Did y'all see that? Somebody was begging the white person to say the N-word. Why would you do that? Because we love white folks. Oh, we love white folks.
Should we be getting gold and chains and diamonds and watches?
No, I want you to turn that in and put it as a down payment for an institution. There you go. Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey, Dallas. Harriet Tubman Clinic.
Come on.
Ida B. Wells Supermarket. Build institutions.
Then we can have
Oh, once we got the institutions, you can have it. But we gotta have the institutions. Gotta have the infrastructure.
I would love to know your thoughts, opinion, origin of Black people with albinism.
Black people with
albinism.
Oh, I love my albino Africans. I run into them all the time. I think it can be a challenge sometimes because Black folks, will sometimes project onto you their own insecurities. And they can sometimes feel that you might feel that you're better because you're a little lighter. So sometimes y'all get some of that light skin supremacy energy, which is not necessarily the case, right? But I don't see them no different. Like I got a lot of albino supporters, and when I go to Africa, I got albino family there and all over. So y'all just another part of the family.
What about the lack of melanin?
It don't bother me. African is African. The first color on the red, black, and green flag is red. Because it's the blood that makes you African. Nobody in this room, there's no two people in this room who are of the exact same hue.
Facts.
It's the blood that makes us African, not the complexion.
And I went to Nigeria and I was at the airport and an albino treated me the worst.
Get out of here.
Yeah, I think he had some
He probably had the light skin supremacy.
Yeah, it was something. It was something.
Why do you think there wasn't any representation of Black people with albinism in like the Black Panther series and other series that are supposed to represent?
That's a powerful point. Here's my question, and I don't know if you know the answer to this as a point of clarity. Are there enough albinos in the entertainment industry to be representative?
One just got locked up.
Okay.
Now I'm saying that because sometimes when we say, why we don't see more dark-skinned sisters, right? They'll say, well, there's not enough dark-skinned sisters in entertainment. But then the dark-skinned sisters will say, yes, it is. It's more than enough of us. So is it the case with albino?
I believe there's
You
more.
think there's enough of
I
them?
believe there's more than enough to.
Then it's discrimination. Then.
If you want to fulfill that role, there's someone to fulfill it.
Then it's discrimination. It's discrimination. And one of the conferences we're going to have at the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, because although we are a school on the weekends, we'll be having conferences, right? I want to have a conference just for the albino Africans.
I like that.
Bring them together. Absolutely.
I would like to see a conference with nothing but the vitiligo Africans.
I agree with that too.
I'm just saying.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, I would love to
I
see
agree with
it.
that too. Also one for the mixed race Africans.
Yes.
Also one for the mixed race. There's also going to be a snow bunny recovery camp. For all
Man,
the bunny
come on
hours.
now. It's needed, it's needed, it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
6 weeks of shaking and shivering. I'm trying to get over that bunnyism.
And if they survive the snow bunny camp, they're going to get a real live snow bunny pet.
Come on now. Come on now. With that being said, we want to make sure that you speak on everything you have coming up, whether any type of, you just left, of course, New Orleans. But any other speaking events, any other?
Coming up now, I got a private event in Snellville, Georgia tomorrow. Black tie. After that, I'm not going to do Kwanzaa this year, which is good. I'm going to.
Any reason why you're just gonna?
I decided to take it off because I've been doing the Kwanzaa tour for 14 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. Except 2020 COVID because I couldn't. Top of the year, I have Eastern Michigan University Black History Conference. I got Edward Waters University in Florida. You know, everybody turned black in February, so I got a lot of stops in February.
Highly sought. Highly
shout
sought.
out to the colleges, though. I love the colleges. Can't wait to get to Edward Waters. Can't wait to get with Eastern Michigan. I was at Western Michigan. I do a lot of colleges. I got Sweden. I'll be going back to Europe. I got Sweden coming up. Who else I got? I got South America coming back up. I did Garvey Day in Costa Rica last year. I'm working on a group trip to Africa. If any of y'all want to go to Africa with me, it's going to be 2 weeks. I should have that information soon.
Very dope.
But I want everybody to sign up for my mailing list. Go on my social media, click on my link tree, sign up for my mailing list because I'm going to start sending out a monthly e-blast to let people know where I'm going to be for the upcoming month, events, how to donate to the school, how to participate, send your resume if you want to work there. Because FDMG going to be everything, man.
Please, yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
It's going to be nice, man. And y'all going to be spending a lot of time there because like I said, when school not in session, there's going to be all kind of conferences and seminars, Black Women's Conference, Black Men's Conference, ex-offender, investors, farmers, comic book, media, everything. Yeah. So you might want to get a little house over in Delaware. The school is exactly 22 driving minutes from the Philadelphia International Airport. You know, Delaware is Philly's backyard.
Correct.
Jersey. So Wilmington is where Pennsylvania, Jersey, Maryland, and Delaware, they all meet right there. So you can live in Maryland, you can live in Jersey, you can live in Philly. It's the perfect place to be. 2 hours from New York, 2 hours from DC. So y'all might want to get y'all some property out there. So whenever you want to come and hang out, you ain't got to get no hotel. You already got a house.
There you go. And for those that do want to follow you, let them know.
Yes. Twitter, The Real Dr. Umar. Facebook, they banned me. TikTok, Prince of Pan-Africanism with a K. Instagram, Dr. Umar Johnson. Who am I leaving out? TikTok, Prince of Pan-Africanism. Instagram, Dr. Umar Johnson. Twitter, The Real Dr. Umar.
YouTube.
I ain't got a YouTube. All those YouTube pages of me, they fake. Yeah. That's somebody else. The Prince of Pan-Africanism and all of them is fake people impersonating me.
We got something.
Why did you get banned on Facebook?
I don't know. They never told me. Mark Zuckerberg never told me.
We gonna ask them. We gonna ask them.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said,
they don't want us using They don't want us using social media for black consciousness. So.
You know, black contractors, man, that hurt my heart, bro. To all my black contractors that's watching this, let's get this together, man.
And they're not all bad. I'm sure some good ones. I just ain't found them yet.
No, I mean, if you're a bad one, take off your evil cap and do some good. But you got to do a little bad.
You know what's crazy though? Before we got to school, people was all over the internet saying, as soon as he get to school, we're going to do the work for free. Y'all probably heard that.
Yeah.
Once he get to school, I'm going to do the plumbing for free. Once he get to school, nobody did anything for free. That was all cap.
Yeah. It'd be sounding good.
It'd be sounding good.
It'd be sounding
good.
Well, that being said, I hope everyone got something, if not a lesson, if not a message, without a bar, a word from this interview, man. I thought I'd be dreaming of a white Christmas this Christmas, but you got me all the way melanated. We got to say it, man. We got him on the blue couch. Dr. Umar. I got to. Dr. Umar Johnson, we got to say it. You are a real life street star.
Appreciate you. One love. One love.
Let's go. Happy Garvey Day.
Yes, yes.
Shout out real street stars, nigga. Move. Hey.